is a marvelous day here in the city of Orange, in the heart of good old Orange County. The most anticipated game here for the local fans has finally arrived. Homecoming weekend is upon us, and the festivities are already under full swing. The cherry on the top for tonight, an evening of unforgettable moments here under the bright Saturday night lights of Wilson Field. The Chapman University Panthers defending their SCIAC title against the Cal Lutheran Kingsmen, who are lurking in the shadows looking to dethrone the Panthers here at home. Welcome everybody, my name is Justin Lee, that's Ben Baum, and Stephen Hogenkamp down on the sideline here tonight, and it is such a big pleasure to be here with you tonight. Ben, you've been a part of the action and the festivities here a year ago, seeing it as a fan. What can you tell us about the energy and the circumstances of this game?
Like you said, energy is a big part of homecoming, especially for Chapman. Coming from the barbecue earlier, and then now the cherry on top, the football game. I'm excited for a great game tonight, Justin.
Certainly will be a good game tonight, and the big storyline here tonight is that we got to talk about the history of this team here at home in the homecoming game. They haven't had a win in the homecoming game since 2019. You see here the record that they have. The last time they beat a team here at home in front of these fans was against Whittier, 36-6. Technically, they didn't have a game in 2021 as the homecoming game because they didn't have fans here, and they just had a series of unfortunate events. What's it going to take for the Panthers to get a win here against this large crowd here?
It's going to be very simple, Justin. Just follow the offensive and defensive game plans, especially for this Chapman team. That's what's going to lead them to the win.
Definitely will be, and tonight we're going to be looking at two quarterbacks in particular. We'll start off with Cal Lutheran and Jaden Casey, the transfer out of Portland State, coming in here after his 2 seasons at that school, started his journey at Cal in the 2020 season, didn't play with them. Now he's here, taking the place of JP Andrade. What do you expect from the quarterback like this?
I expect him to play very well. I would say the one thing that he needs to key on into for his own game is really limiting the interceptions. He has 3 interceptions to 3 touchdowns this season.
Absolutely, and tonight a different quarterback is playing for the Panthers and Joey Yellen instead of Luke Peterman here. He's playing here. Stephen Hogenkamp will probably tell us a little bit later down the sidelines about his story and his journey to get here. Ben, what do you expect from a quarterback who's different than what we've seen through the past 3 games?
I mean, I expect him to play like a great game-managing pocket passer quarterback. As we see here, percentage, 62.5%. That's really great. And then 105 yards. No touchdowns, though, but that's totally fine. I expect him to look for Amir a lot today.
Certainly we'll be looking for Amir tonight, and we'll also be looking for a lot of defenders for both of these teams. You got to talk about Cal Lutheran's Diego Serrano at the safety position, and you have to talk about Alexander Terriquez for the Panthers here tonight, taking the place of K. Jordan, and he's got to lead this defense without one of their best defensive players here tonight. And we can compare these two players. They are going to be the most important pieces for both of these teams here on this field today.
Yes, they're going to be very important, but I expect Alex Terriquez to be the most important player for this entire game. He's coming in here making up for the loss of K. Jordan, who got injured in that Whitworth game. K. Jordan, the emotional support for this entire football team. When the defense is out, he's always yelling. When the offense is out, he's still yelling, trying to hype up the crowd. I expect Alex Terriquez to do the exact same tonight for this Chapman team.
Certainly, for sure. And Harrison Donato is taking the place of K. Jordan here tonight, and also with most of these players here today, and you got the Zimmerman brothers out here tonight. It's going to be important for these pieces to be working in all action and forth between these two teams. Now let's take a look at some of the comparisons between these two teams, and obviously Cal Lutheran is still looking for their first win of the season. They have yet to win a game. They might spoil the night here tonight, but the Panthers have had a strong offensive showing throughout the last 3 games, and including their defense. And you see the pass yards per game, the rush yards per game between these two teams. Obviously one team is more pass heavy. The Panthers run a lot more than the Cal Lutheran Kingsmen do, and the red zone efficiency, a huge difference there. What do you see here between these two stats?
I really see that Cal Lutheran's defense needs to be scared of this Chapman offense. I mean, they're a fantastic passing team. They're a really good running team. And then the red zone efficiency, they're there, they're going to score, and you got to stop them.
Certainly do, and the Panthers here tonight, last week they had a really big win against the University of Redlands. Last year they played them here in the homecoming game actually, and fared better in this matchup last week. They had 5 interceptions against this team. The Redlands didn't look the same as they did last year, Ben.
Yes, didn't look the same. They went for more of an air raid offense in that last game against Chapman, which really was to their disadvantage. I mean, as you said, Chapman with 5 interceptions in that game. The year prior, they were very run heavy. They had a very good running back who ran through the Chapman defense, and that was the reason why they won that game. And then because they air raid, that's the reason why they lost to Chapman last week.
Well, their defense is going to be on show here tonight. Now for the Cal Lutheran Kingsmen. Last week they had to play against CMS, and you can argue that this is their toughest stretch of the schedule here, playing against one of the best teams in the conference who won the SCIAC title last year. They had to play against an undefeated CMS team who is probably a top contender in this conference still, just like the Panthers, and they didn't fare much as well.
I mean, those are back-to-back games against SCIAC powerhouses, which sometimes could be good. You know, iron sharpens iron. They're coming off of a really competitive game where they played one of the better teams. Let's see if they learned stuff from that game and translate it to this game, Justin.
Well, we'll be looking for that tonight. They could be a sneaky team here tonight as well. But for both of these teams, we talked about some of the injuries a little bit between these two squads. Actually, Cal Lutheran is coming in here fairly healthy on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. The Panthers are working with some players who are injured right now. Obviously, the main center, Luke Jones, is out for tonight. Norden is going to come in here for the center position. That's got to be a storyline to look out for. Fisher Huss will be out tonight, one of the backup running backs for this team as well. Who do you expect is going to make a big impact with the loss here?
Well, of course, Cade Jordan being out, that's a massive loss for this Chapman team. They're losing the SCIAC Defensive Player of the Year from last year. But then also Luke Jones, that's a very underrated injury. Chapman's O-line already is very undersized compared to Cal Luz, who has multiple players of 300+ pounds. We don't have a single player like that. So we'll see if that hurts our offense today or if we can live with it.
Certainly, for sure. Stephen Hogenkamp will be joining us a little bit later before we get things underway here in this beautiful night. Let's kind of break it down for the fans here tonight and kind of get a gauge of what these festivities are like. You know, obviously we talked about just what it means to be a part of this atmosphere. You know, you being in that seat, in that chair where these fans are here tonight, what do you think is it for the people who are here tonight? What's the energy feeling like for sure?
I mean, it's really just amazing. It's exploding. Like, we see fans standing up right now for the national anthem. I mean, fans are just ready. They're ready to see a good football game. They're ready to finally see a Chapman homecoming win.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to send it down to the national anthem. Before we get things kicked off here, we'll be right back up here in the booth.
I don't want to get in a shot. So.
Early light, what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched, where so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Welcome back, everybody, here in the booth. We're just about to get things going here at Wilson Field. We talked about it earlier with Joey Yellen and his story here. More on that. Stephen Hogenkamp is down the sidelines with that story and giving us a little bit more in-depth storyline about that. Stephen, what do you got for us about Joey Yellen? Oh, well, hold on. We're going to have to hold up a little bit. Joey Yellen, I mean, most of these teams, this team here in particular, the Panthers this season, You talk about the transfers. Joey Yellen is just one of them. Jake Foy is another name that we got to watch out for. And historically, this team doesn't really get a whole lot of transfers, but when you do, it's kind of a big deal. We talked about the Zimmerman brothers in particular. You know, his brother Tate and Cade coming in here from New Mexico. And one of those guys is an important piece here, Ben.
Yes, I mean, bringing in this D1 talent, it is massive for a D3 program like Chapman, bringing in that D1 experience, that D1 exposure, that D1 skill, so that we're one of the best teams in the SCIAC.
Absolutely. Well, Stephen Hogenkamp is now ready for us with that storyline on Joey Yellen. Stephen, let us know about Joey Yellen.
Thanks, Ben and Justin. Well, starting quarterback Joey Yellen has really had a unique journey that has led him into tonight's game. And like all storybook endings, his end will bring him home. It all started in 2019 when the Mission Viejo product graduated high school as the #3 pro-rated quarterback in the country. He took his talents to Tempe, Arizona at Arizona State University, where he went into a position battle with now Washington Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels. He then transferred to the ACC at the University of Pittsburgh, where he went into yet another tough position battle with now Eagles quarterback Kenny Pickett. He made one more stop at the University of Hawaii before returning home to Orange County, California. Tonight's game is going to be a sold-out, standing-room-only crowd, as you could see behind me. But Joey Yellen does not have stage fright. He's played in big-time games, in big-time moments, and in big-time arenas. And the house lights are just about to go dim, and Joey Yellen is ready for a roaring audience for his curtain call. Ben, Justin, back up to you.
Thank you, Stephen. That was an insightful story about Joey Yellen. Well, let's talk about these coaches in particular. Obviously, one coach has got not as much experience as the other one, Anthony Lugo, who is the coach for the Cal Lutheran Kingsmen, coming in here in his 4th season, compared to Coach Owens, who's only in his 25th season. And you look and compare it to these two coaches, you know, the experience level may not be there, but different play styles, different ways that they can put these teams together, right?
Yes, different play styles, but also being a head coach, having that experience, having over 100 wins at this point is massive.
Absolutely massive. And before we get things kicked off, we're going to throw it down to the field where the coin toss is just about to happen. Let's get the mics down to the middle of the field.
Chapman has won a toss, lucky to throw.
Kicked off, and the energy can't be any higher than the ceiling here, Ben.
Truly poppable right now, Justin. I mean, it's a packed crowd. The football team's ready. The captains just came up. They're jumping. They're excited. We're going to have a great game today, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely will be. Well, hold on. We're going to get a pause in the action here before we come back and get things kicked off. So we'll be right back here on the Chapman Sports Broadcast Network.
Stay tuned here on CSBN during halftime,
where we will provide top analysis and highlights. I'm Lucas Patton.
I'm Nico Schwegler.
And I'm Ella Matarelli. We are your CSBN analysts.
Welcome back, everybody, to the action down here at Wilson Field. Homecoming weekend is here with us. We talked about Coach Owens earlier, and the action can't be any higher in this pressure situation for this coach, Ben.
Yes, the pressure cannot be higher. It's a homecoming game. They haven't won since 2019, but I feel like Bob Owens and his boys are ready for it today.
We'll see if the root beer floats are going to be cracked out here tonight. At the coin toss, the Panthers did not win the coin toss. They'll be kicking away. Cal Lutheran going to receive here. Jax Hudson is the kickoff specialist for the Panthers. He'll get things underway here. Desmond Thompson in the end zone, getting ready for the kickoff. Beautiful night here in Orange, the Panthers, and they'll get a good starting position at the 31. Offense out here for the Cal Lutheran Kingsmen. We talked about him and his journey here as well. Obviously, Steven touched on Joey Yellen for that, but this is a battle of the Division I quarterbacks here, Ben.
Yes, battle of the Division I transfers right here. We'll see if quarterback Jaden Casey can really.
His first snap of the game is just a short gain here to the running back. Alexander Tarikas on the tackle. Second and long coming up. Cal Lutheran going a little fast here. This thing fast. Cade Cadam, their leading receiver for the Kingsmen, gets that catch. A good gain here for the Kingsmen.
I expect to see a lot more tonight, Justin. Cade McAdam, really just a one-man show for this offense.
Definitely have to keep an eye on him tonight. Second team Sky last season, alongside others. Desmond Thompson is also a second teamer for this squad as well. His brother Trevor Cadam. Good burst up to the 50-yard, and he gets by into Chapman territory. Gain of about 6. Now they'll push them back a little bit, so 5-yard gain here. Working on second down. This is where the beginning of the game kind of gets into those scripted playbooks. And you see the Kingsmen kind of working their elements here. Chapman's just, it'll be third down and short for the Kingsmen. Number 12, Desmond Thompson on the catch.
And that's just a beautiful pass right there by Jaden Casey, putting the ball where only his receiver could get to it. You see the DB try to reach out, no chance of getting in front of that ball, Justin.
Seth Holbrook on the coverage there, didn't have a good chance on that. He's got 3 tackles this season and 1 interception to go to his name as well. This Panthers defense has a total of 8 interceptions this entire season. Third down and short, they need about a yard to pick up the sticks. Motion here, handoff, down the way.
That was one of their weaknesses coming into this game. Let's see if this strength continues, Justin.
Going a little fast here. Jaden Casey in the backfield. He's got his running back Landless behind him. Testing the defense, looking over to the sidelines and getting the next play. They move Landless to Casey's right. This time it's a handoff to Landless. He's getting for the Kingsmen. A good drive so far for the Kingsmen, Ben.
Yes, and just a great run. Back like 22.
Another first down for the Kingsmen, resets the chains. And once again, they're checking out of the play. This is kind of a by committee running back roster for the Kingsmen. They switch between Gabe Landless and CJ Zachary, and also Dylan Turner, who is also a SCIAC second team. Dragged down by Colin Keefe on that tackle. Another important piece for the Panthers on this team, the strong safety out of Orange, California, home native here to the school. Obviously his brother, one of the famous players here at this school, Dylan Keefe, one of the greatest players arguably in Chapman history. Handoff here, rolling out to his right. Casey looking downfield. He's got a man. Inside red zone territory. That's Cade Cadam. A lot tonight.
And that's a great job by Casey too, using his legs, finding the open space, and then finding that open man for a beautiful pass.
Another first down has been reached by the Kingsmen, and they are inside Panthers territory, getting closer to that red zone, to the goal line here. Landless to his right, backing up, throwing a deep one to the right of the end zone, and it is a battle for the ball, and it is incomplete to Cade Cadam. Good coverage from the Panthers there inside. That was Rennick Martin, one of the best defensive backs here for the Panthers.
Yes, and that's just great defense. staying in front of that wide receiver, really getting in front of that passing lane, and then just swatting it away, being a little nuisance in there.
2nd and 10 for the Kingsmen. They're checking out the play once more. The sound coming out here from the crowd here at Wilson Field. Send up, they hand it off to Landless. He's trying to push us way even closer to the end zone, but he won't get there too far. A short gain here for the Kingsmen. It'll be 3rd down and long.
And there was Alex Torres right there, finding the gap, finding where the running back was going, and putting a good tackle, wrapping his legs, getting him to the ground. Great stop there by Tariquez.
So in a big 3rd and 8 here for the Kingsmen coming up as they get closer to the end zone. Panthers looking for the opening drive stop here. This would be very interesting if the Kingsmen are able to score on this first drive. Bunch formation on the outside, motioning the tight end. Backing up is Casey down the middle, and it's over the head of his intended target. It will be incomplete, and that'll make that 4th down.
And there are the inaccuracies from Casey that we were talking about earlier that led to his 3 interceptions over 3 games.
Receiver, so a little bit of a dynamic play here. Kicker Daniel Burgess is in here for the field goal. This will be a 30-yard kick to get the first points on the board. The crowd getting loud here. Snap is down, kick is up. And it is no good. It is wide left of the posts. So on the first drive for the Kingsmen, they're unable to get any points on the board. You got to be happy about that stoppage. Definitely did. And the wind was coming in here. It's like a valley between these two buildings. Keck on the other side and obviously Ernie Chapman Stadium over here. So here come the Panthers now, and we'll see the first snaps of Joey Yellen here in this stadium. 2 running back set. Takes the ball himself. He's going deep. He's going down the way. Adams dropped it. Oh, goodness. He had it in his grip.
Amir Adams. Sorry, Justin. Going down the field, starting off with a big play early, really setting the tone against this Cal Lutheran offense, and then what looks to be a pass interference on the Cal.
Gio Orsino now in the backfield. Yellen in the shotgun. He will throw this one to the outside. That's Pacheco down the sideline. He's going through and he gets knocked off his.
Ended up to the star running back in Gio Orsino, and then pulls it back, finds Pacheco on the outside, and hits him with it.
My apologies. Quinn Beeble was the intended target on that play. He got down with a good gain there. Yellen now here.
Not a great throw right there by Yellen. The DB really just sitting on it, watching Yellen, watching his eyes, and then, as we can see, very athletic play. Gets up, gets the interception, and then the run back was really good too, setting up this Cal Lu offense in a great position.
But contact was deemed legal. First down, defense.
So the flag gets waited, and what a way to start for the defense of the Kingsmen to get a turnover. So here's the Kingsmen inside Panthers territory on their second drive. Got a good chance to put some points once again after failing on the first drive. Handoff to Zachary. Short gain. Jaden Casey now. Zachary's still in there. He's got Kay Cadam on the bottom of your screen. Panthers bring in the rush, and he gets through Zachary down inside Panther territory.
Yeah, that loss of Cade Jordan is not looking too good right now for this Chapman defense.
Tate Zimmerman taking the place of Cade Jordan on this defense, and Harrison Donato replacing that spot where Tate Zimmerman was. Here's Casey handing it off once again to Zachary. He's finding the outside open. He's going through to the end zone. Touchdown, Kingsman. CJ Zachary gets the first points of the game here. He's trying to spoil the night for the Panthers.
And that was just a great run play, getting it to the outside, finding the open lane, and then As we see, once he gets past the O-line, there is no one there to stop him.
This team usually doesn't rely heavy on the run game, and then they do it on this second drive where they started inside the 30-yard line, and it was easy pickings. Extra point is good. Kingsman up by 7. Panthers nil right now in the first quarter after that interception that Joey Yellen threw to Diego Serrano. Coach in practice, he said Luke Peterman wasn't entirely 100% to go, so they were trying to figure out where to work with these quarterbacks. But the other side is the fact that this quarterback roster for this Panthers is really, really deep. You've got A.G. Perez, transfer out of USD, Division I talent once again. You have Nathaniel Espinoza in his 5th year, one of the better quarterbacks for this team, a running threat. So they have a lot of options in case something doesn't work out here tonight, Ben.
Do have a lot of options, but I do
Daniel Burgess will kick this one off to the Panthers as they try to reset once again. Gian Lagerman waiting for the pretty decent return here for the Panthers as they try to get set up for their second drive and hoping to get a sustained drive here. We talked about Coach Bob Owens earlier in the broadcast, and this is another one of those games against the SCIAC team. He's 58-18, 76% win percentage against conference opponents. It's got to feel good, but right now, they're under right now.
Yes, under by 7. Just a one-score game. Should be fine. Don't need to overcomplicate the situation.
Here's a handoff to Ursino, who's going on the outside perimeter, taken down. Short gain here. Brandon Ayuk, which is crazy. And now he's here with guys like Amira Adams and Gian Lagerman.
Pumping his legs there, Justin. Kept moving forward. No one can stop Gio Orsino. He is truly just a strong, powering running back for this Chapman offense.
So far this season, he's having himself a really nice one. 55 attempts, 303 yards before the start of this game. He's averaging 5.4 yards per carry with 1 touchdown, and he's already had 2 games with 100-plus yards. So after resetting the chains here, Yellen's back in the shotgun. Trying to look for somebody deep. Zimmerman, and it is caught on the outside, but it's dropped on the ground, so incompletion here. Quentin Beeble, the intended target. And 1 catch earlier. That's rare to see for one of your best tight ends, 6'4", 230 pounds out of Aliso Niguel High School. He had a touchdown against Whitworth 2 weeks ago in that loss against a really, really tough NWC opponent. Second down here. Andrew Lotto is in the game at running back. He's off to his left. And Tyler Pacheco is under shotgun. He pulls this one in the wild. First down.
Great run right there by Pacheco, getting into the Wildcat formation, showing the defense something completely new. You never know. Are they going to pitch it back to the quarterback? Is he just going to run with it? Is he going to toss it? We never know. That's the crazy factor of a Wildcat formation for any football team.
Just before the start of this game, he was already at the 82 yards. He got 3 touchdowns against the University of Redlands last week. He's been a big piece for this team. The quarterback. A rocky start for the tight end.
Yes, after that first catch that he had on that first possession, just really losing the ball, even when it's in his
bigger targets for this team as well. Don't rarely see that. 21 receptions last year, 191 yards and 1 touchdown. Back under center is Ursino. Reach for extra yardage on the outside perimeter, and it's a gain of about 6 yards. But third down coming here. Switching out a couple of players for the Panthers. Nick Taney is in at wide receiver right now. Brandon Mazzano is also in for the Panthers, including Cade Zimmerman. And Pacheco is back in the Wildcats.
Wildcat formation works. Again, the same exact play, but you never know. As I said before, you could pitch it back, you could throw it, you could run with it. That's how insanely important a Wildcat formation is for offenses.
He was taken down by Arthur Orta before he could get to the end zone in Pacheco. And now the Panthers have got another movement of the sticks, and they get a first down. And Yoan's back at the quarterback spot. They've got the tight end Vandenberg in there. D'Orsino trying to get through some tackles. Panthers now operating in the red zone. Mazzano sticking around, including Zimmerman. Ooh, near jump from the defensive line of the Kingsmen. Trying to pull the little Aaron Rodgers bit.
Yes.
Yellen takes a snap, hands it off to Orsino. He's running outside. He's got open space. Can he get there? And he just gets dragged down by a Kingsman defensive player. And Devin Gooseby, he saved a touchdown on that run.
Truly saved a touchdown. Really, Chapman looking to run into and left sides. Let's see if they can get that passing game in soon now.
Yellen still in the pot, in the shotgun to Orsino. He hands it off. Can he get there? Did he reach for it? From tying it against the Kingsmen. Welcome to the homecoming scene, Gio Orsino.
Just a great run there by Orsino, getting it up the middle, putting his head down, and getting the ball over the goal line, getting the first 6 for the Chapman Panthers tonight.
Jax Hudson, number 46, in for the extra point. Got his first field goal last week against the Redlands. And this extra point, it is good. So the Panthers tie it up on their second drive, a long drive for the Panthers as they get down the field, 7-7, 2 minutes and 35 left to go in the first quarter.
Looks like both offenses have really settled into the game tonight. Kalu, I mean, they had the advantage after that interception, getting great field position. They couldn't do anything else on that but score a touchdown. And then Chapman and Joey Yellen really showing the array that this offense has, getting it all the way downfield, scoring their first touchdown. Great drive right there by the Panthers.
It's certainly working. You can probably say that the run game was the biggest contributor on that drive with Gio Orsino and obviously Pacheco in the Wildcat position getting down the field. And now they've got to stop a Kingsman offense who has been able to get by the Panthers' run defense so far. Panthers last year in the conference, they were in total defense in 5th out of 6 teams in the entire conference. They've had their troubles with the run game. Looking to change that scenario here tonight. Is still early in this game, of course. Kickoff from Jax. Nick Taney on the tackle, the wide receiver for the Panthers, one of the backup players. A little frustrated because I think the PA announcer may have called the wrong guy there, Ben. But here we go. Yet another drive for the Kingsmen as they try to take back the lead. Jaden Casey back under shotgun. Handoff here to the running back. Off to the outside, and he gets swallowed up by the Panthers defense. Not going anywhere on that play. Looks like it's also a loss on that as well.
And here's the Chapman defense that we know. The gritty defense that will get to the ball, get them down, get the big stops. That's what we're going to see for the rest of the night with this Chapman defense.
Mickey Duluth, the running back, the freshman, was on that play. Not too much happening here. Kingsman checking out of it once more. Going with a different running back look here for the Kingsmen. 3 wide receivers out. Casey trying to look for someone deep. He's got trouble in his face. He's still dancing around in the end zone. He just throws it away errantly, and he gets back to the line of scrimmage. Good coverage there from the Panthers as Casey had pressure in his face. He just had to throw it away, but dangerously into the middle of the field, Ben.
Yes, very dangerous, throwing it into the middle of the field. Would have rather seen it throw it out of bounds or something like that. Stop the clock as well with that throw. But yeah, the defensive line for Chapman getting through the O-line, a very big O-line. That's very huge for this Chapman defense.
Trying to do a little Kyler Murray dance in the pocket there as he nearly thought he was going to get sacked, but he was able to race out but didn't find anybody downfield. 3rd down and 10 for the Kingsmen. Stoppage of play. Looks like a timeout from the Kingsmen has been called. Yes, indeed it is. A little break in the action here on homecoming night. Panthers tie at 7-7 right now. Well, let's talk about it, Ben. You know, we're also celebrating a lot of different things here tonight. Obviously, everyone knows that this is the 10-year anniversary for CSBN, but also, it's also the 30th year anniversary for the Chapman football program. The 1994 team is here tonight in the building. Dave Bishop, the defensive coach here for the Panthers, he's been coaching here since 94. Luke Smith's father was on the original 94 team. He was number 52 on the D-line. And the director of athletics, Terry Bossel, coached the wide receivers during the 94 season here. Got to be a big deal for this Panthers team.
Very big deal. And they want to show out for the 94 team that is in the audience with us tonight. That are in for the weekend, trying to give them a good show as well.
Well, we got a small little show happening here. Casey trying to get the sticks to get moved. He's going deep down the way. Number 5, Seth Holbrook gets his 2nd interception of the season. The senior out of Orange, California.
Yes, but it looks like number 2, Jacob Gowdy, might have held a little bit on their return. That's probably what the flag's going to be called on, Justin. We could see him holding his head, being very mad at himself after that play.
Casey kind of just threw it out there. Referee Timothy Kiefer making the calls here tonight, the Whitecap. But that throw just seemed a little errant, and especially in a pressure situation, you'd imagine that Casey would just take that ball and take the brunt of the sack and just punt it away. But you get the Panthers a pretty good field position here on this next drive.
Yes, great field position for the Panthers. Yeah, very errant throw, and then over the head of his receiver to the Panthers DB. Not a great play.
Roll out by Yellen. A.J. Townsend on the coverage, junior out of Valencia High School. Nothing really happening there on that play.
And that's very hard to do, Justin, keeping up with Amir Adams. He has a track and field background from his high school. He uses his speed to his advantage a lot of the times against these defensive backs. So very hard challenge, and great job by A.J. Townsend to stay with Amir Adams on that play.
This season, he's the #1 receiver in terms of touchdown reception from your running back to get closer and at least make it a manageable 3rd down.
He's out to the 42-yard line. It's 3rd down.
3rd down and 3 to go to move the sticks as they are inside Kingsman territory, trying to take the lead against the Kingsmen. Yelling the shotgun. And they're resetting the play here.
This is a big 3rd down right now for them, Justin. They just got the turnover. They're trying to give their defense a break, and they're trying to score, get the lead.
The refs conferring at the field. The Whitecap says it's a 1st down, and that will move the sticks. So good turnout there for Lotto as he gets the Panthers yet another 1st down on this drive. It looks like the Panthers
throwing interceptions. And then also with Cal Lutheran, a team that has been very pass heavy, they ran the ball a ton.
They've ran the ball a ton. We'll be right back here on the Chapman Sports Broadcast Network. It's 7-7. Don't go too far away. University Panthers on their homecoming night. It's been a good first quarter. Now we jump into the second quarter. The Panthers got a first down earlier. Yellen's in there. Just a toss here. Inside, instead of going on the outside, they just dive right between the tackles.
Also interesting on Pacheco, instead of really running, he had two kind of hops right there.
Oh, here we go. We got a little razzle-dazzle. Joey Yellen looking for somebody. Nobody open downfield. He just hands it off to Gio Ursino.
Great job by Gio Ursino to get those few extra yards that this offense really needs.
Here we go, Yellen. Third down and short. Hands it off to Ursino.
Now the game too. Yellen's on the sideline right now. Definitely a wildcat play.
They got a interesting formation here for the Panthers. Big, heavy guys on the left side. Pacheco takes the immediate handoff, trying to dive forward. And it looks like
this is just wild. I thought that he had reached and gotten that first down when he extended his arm at the end of the play, but I guess the referee saw something completely different than what I've seen. And then also, both these offenses have not looked amazing today, Justin.
the Panthers this all time, when the opponent scores first, they're 40, 81-1 historically. No gain from the Kingsmen. Small jump here on the line, nearly. And Kingsmen are checking out of the play. Panthers trying to get off of the field with their defense. And now the crowd is getting loud. Second down and 10. Casey trying for the deep ball. It is picked off! Picked off for the Panthers defense. Jacob Gowdy gets the pick. That was an easy one.
Hopefully scoring a touchdown very soon with this offense.
Jacob Gowdy just right in the middle of the field. Casey got also some pressure in his face. Last week, Gowdy got an interception in the Redlands game in just 6 plays on their opening drive, and he gets another one here. Just the 10th pickoff for this Panthers team, getting into double-digit territory on turnover. Down the field, he's got Adams. There was a fight on the scuffle. What is the call? It's a touchdown. It's a touchdown to Amir Adams, bursting out to the homecoming scene. What a crazy play.
What started as a dangerous play for the Chapman Panthers with Joey Yelling fumbling the ball. He gets the ball, looks down the field, and there's Amir Adams with a perfect dime throw to him in the back of the end zone, and then touchdown Chapman Panthers.
You gotta be crazy if you're on the bingo card with Joey Yellen fumbling it on the ground and then just having the composure to throw it down the field, and Amir Adams being able to not just only get the catch, but take it on the second effort, nearly dropping it.
Just a wild play right there, Justin. Never really see a quarterback be able to calm his nerves down, get the ball, and then look to the end zone for your best wide receiver and throw him a perfect ball.
One-on-one coverage on Adams. You want to take that matchup any day, especially if you're the Panthers on offense here. And you see the replay here, just a crazy play in general. All over the field. This entire play was just wicked. And Adams is able to secure this catch. My goodness.
And Adams is not the tallest guy either. Being able to go over his opponent at 5'10" just shows off how athletic this wide receiver is for the Chapman Panthers.
Well, after the touchdown was made, interesting motion here as the Panthers took a timeout before they get going on the PAT attempt here. Jax Hudson's back on it for the PAT. And you see the sidelines, they're just conversating about the whole play in general.
But also look, Ursino is going to hold the ball for the kick.
They've done some trickery before, but just instead they kick it. So the Panthers take the lead in the second quarter after a crazy play from the Panthers offense. It is 14-7, 12 minutes to go in the first half. Multitudes of fans here tonight. Ernie Chapman Stadium is host to over 1,800 seats here at the stadium. This entire stadium is filled up with fans, and even on the far side, and you see the fans on the Wilson Field side closer to the dorms, and they're everywhere tonight. This is one of the biggest games of the year for these fans here tonight. So many students, faculty, and alumni come together to celebrate where it all began here at this grand institution, Ben.
And let's not forget about the parents too. I mean, a lot of these students, a lot of these faculty members couldn't have made it here without the help and support of their family.
Well, after a beautiful drive from the Panthers, after the interception from Casey, Jax Hudson's going to kick it off to the Kingsmen. Down the way. Up. Fairly decent return for the Kingsmen. And the Panthers are going to get it off the field as the Kingsmen are trying to figure out their deal on offense. Though they had a really good drive earlier in the game, so far it's just kind of been blowing up in their face with all this pressure from the Panthers defense, and Bob Owens is cooking up a nice little meal out here for Jaden Casey tonight.
And that was what we were scared about with Jaden Casey. With the 3 interceptions on the season, adding 2 more already in this game, that's not a good look for this former D1 quarterback.
Big gain here from the running back, Gabe Landless, once again on the run. We saw him earlier. In the backfield, look to him to be a primary target for the Kingsmen. They've already thrown 2 picks tonight. You'd think they would just be conservative right now after those 2 picks.
I mean, the run game works so well on that first possession for them. I mean, I don't know why they strayed away from it.
And now they hand it off once again, and not a big gain here as Alex. It's a really good Panthers offense, Ben.
Yes, trying to give their defense a break. That has been really just dogging it out there against this high-flying, high-powered Chapman offense.
Motion here from the backside, the tight end going out, Valencia. Casey rolling out, trying to find something downfield. He throws it. There is a flag on the field. An incomplete pass from the Kingsmen as it was dropped. Number 7, Taylor Evans, was the intended target. We'll check what the flag is in just a second. Well, here's the call.
Pass interference on the offense. Number 87, that penalty is declined. 4th down.
Oh, there you have it. Pass interference, and no matter what, even if he caught it, wouldn't have done anything. So Bob Owens decides to cancel the call there. And the Kingsmen roll at their punter for the first time tonight. Kyle Howie, the junior out of Oak Park, California, has 13 punts already. 38.2 average on punts. Only 1 inside the 20. Amir Adams is here to receive it. Flag thrown on the field. Amir Adams is going to let this one bounce. A good Kingsman bounce. Inside the 20. And they're trying to blow some wind on it. Down at the 14-yard line. We'll check what the flag is.
Illegal formation. On the offense, number 87. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot, 4th down.
So illegal formation.
There, landed a little short. I mean, the roll was amazing. Landed inside the 20-yard line. Let's see if he can really put his boot on for this one.
You're hoping to see a good spiral if you love punter highlights. Howie. Amir Adams in the back. Way better punt this time. Calling for the fair catch, Amir Adams. And he takes it down to the 35-yard line. And the Panthers offense comes out once more. So one of the big things about the Panthers offense is they like to spread it around to their biggest weapons. Obviously, Gian Lagerman this season already has 1 touchdown. He's the #1 receiver in terms of yardage, but it seems like Amir Adams is probably taking that title now up to this point. Amir Adams is also one of those big pieces. Jason Bruce is kind of an under-the-radar type of wide receiver for this offense, but you see the amount of weapons that this team has, and no matter what, even if one of them goes down, the replacement there, Zimmerman, Pacheco, Manzano, they got a lot of good pieces on this squad.
So many weapons. The defense never knows who they're going to go to, Justin.
Yellen just sitting in the pocket to Zimmerman, the long legs and stride, and he's taken down by the Kingsman defense after a pretty good gain on the crossing route from Zimmerman. Number 9, Aikenhart Ellis, the 4th from Punahou High School, 6'1", 190 pounds, gets the tackle, but a good gain that moves the sticks for the Panthers. Cade Zimmerman alongside his brother Tate, like we talked about, from New Mexico University, the Lobos. A highly touted receiver coming out of Irvine High School. Ursino gets the handoff and he's bursting through the seams. Gets a short gain here. Kingsman territory after that pick. Now they're back out here trying to run up the score once again.
Yes, really trying to slow down the game right now, giving their defense a break, letting them take a sip of water, letting them calm their thoughts, calm down their bodies.
Finally out of bounds from a Kingsman defensive player. Gio Ursino on the check down. Dangerous on the run, dangerous as a receiver.
And being able to have your running back there be a receiving threat is so big. We see in the NFL with a team like the Saints can have over the opposing defense.
And especially when you have a really good receiver making a block on the outside edges. Joey Yellen gets a snap. Manzano makes a nice catch towards the back, but it doesn't go anywhere as it's blown up by the Kingsman defense. Number 57, Matthew Keller, snuffed that one out pretty fast. A lot of the players on this Kingsman team working with a lot of the seniors on this squad, but there is a lot of young talent on this squad as well. Some of their starters, we talked about Aiken Ellis. Santa Margarita. Funny enough, he played with my brother at Tesoro High School. So good to see him out here. Pacheco in the Wildcat right now, takes the handoff. He'll take it himself to the outside running, trying to make people miss. He's still dancing around, spinning around.
Seeing that was entirely blocked, getting to the middle, spinning around the defense, finding the hole, and then getting the few extra yards from that little dance that he had around this Kingsman defense.
Tyler Pacheco out of San Benito High School. He was a 3-sport athlete in football, basketball, and volleyball, so he used some of those moves to his advantage. Had 2,881 total yards and 32 touchdowns in his time in high school. Joey Yellen is back in the shotgun for the Panthers. He's stepping back. He's trying to find a man downfield, and that's Lagerman. And he gets pushed by the Kingsman defense. Good little stop there. We'll see if that moves the sticks, and yes, it does. Good gain from Gian Lagerman to move the sticks on the 3rd down. Number 11, And number 9, Aikenhart Ellis IV, and number 11, Blake Hurley was on the tackle. But it wasn't enough to stop the Panthers offense. They're operating in the red zone now.
And that was just a great play there by Yellen. He's really been looking for the check down more later in this second quarter of the game, really trying to make the safe play, not make a mistake during this game.
Handoff to Ursino, jumps over a hurdle of a man, and he gets a short gain here on the first play on the first down after resetting the chains.
Put down by Jake Crane at the 13. You get him yard second down.
They're operating at the 13-yard line now. Pacheco back in the game. Zimmerman also in there, and Brandon Mazzano. We'll see what they've got in the bag for the Panthers, trying to run it up against this Kingsman defense. Yellen down the field. Zimmerman trying to go vertical, and it's just good coverage, and a flag now against the Kingsmen, it looks like. Both number 2s, A.J. Townsend for the Kingsmen and number 2, Cade Zimmerman, on each other one-on-one. It looks like the Panthers are going to get this one down inside even further into
Pass
Kingsman
interference
territory.
on the defense. Number 2, foul
Just
occurred in the
look
end
to
zone, will be placed at the 2-yard line, automatic first down.
Just look to be a little aggressive there on that coverage. Personally, I would not have thrown a flag on that play. I mean, we'll see in the replay here, Yellen, he had one sight in mind, and that was Zimmerman. Yeah, just a little hold and then a push at the end there. Just a little aggressive on that coverage.
So this moves the ball within 5 yards down to the 2-yard line now. And this is where the Panthers usually excel in terms of efficiency. They were the #1 pass offense in the entire conference last year. Pacheco is in the Wildcat spot next to Ursino. He's going to give it to Ursino, and he's tripped up in the backfield. Not much of a gain there, and it's
creating the hole, but then from the backside right there, the opposing defenders just come right in, trip him up, and then also it looked like Ursino was waiting a little bit too much on that. He really needs to hit that hole and get that touchdown for this Chapman Panthers offense.
Pacheco now out, Yellen back in. Ursino to his right. Motion here from Mazzano. Fakes a handoff, rolling out to his right. Yellen down the field. It's tipped in the air, and it's caught. It is caught. The tight end, Quentin Peeble, juggling it around, and he finally secures it for the touchdown.
You know, Justin, I feel like this entire Chapman Panthers team needs to join a circus for how much they're juggling that ball around right now. It's looking like there are a bunch of clowns out there. But again, just a great job of locking in on the ball and being able to get it in your breadbasket, get a touchdown for your team.
You could hear all the breaths in the world and the gas as that process was happening. Quentin Peeble had a lot of drops in the first quarter. Now he finally gets a touchdown with a near drop. Goodness, just a lot of things happening in terms of, we saw Yellen earlier get the fumble on the ground and then throw it to Amir Adams in the end zone. And now we see Quinn Peeble nearly drop it in the end zone, but he secures it safely. An extra point here, good for the Panthers. They're up by 14 now in the second quarter.
And that's really just a confidence builder for any receiver. Getting that catch, and for it to be a touchdown too, that just builds confidence for not only yourself, but for your entire team for the rest of the game.
Well, maybe if we put the highlight reel on later, we'll probably put some sound effects on that catch in the end zone for Quinn Peeble. But that's got to be nice for the tight end. Obviously, you know, he had some of those drops in the first quarter. Now he gets a touchdown. The confidence booster is there for him now.
Really just cured his case of the dropsies right there, Justin.
Jax Hudson back on the kickoff here. Kingsman looking to answer after a nice touchdown on the drive, a pretty long drive down the field. Tackled in the end zone. And the refs are calling it a touchback regardless. They don't believe that the Kingsmen touched the ball whatsoever. The Chapman Panthers want a safety on that. All the fans here with their bingo cards looking for the safety.
That was clear as day to me that it went right through his hands. Maybe just a missed call by refs. That happens from time to time.
An interesting setup there for the Kingsmen, and obviously that dropped kickoff return there. You see Bob Owens talking to the ref, trying to make his case on that kickoff return. And that almost was bad, because with the safety, obviously, then you have to, you know, defend against the Panthers offense, who's going to have to come back on the field. So a safety play there for the Kingsmen nearly happened. Handoff here to the running back. He is taken down from behind. A little switch up here in the backfield once again. J.D. Sumlin, the junior, 5'9", out of Sierra Canyon High School, is in the backfield. They're using all their running backs tonight.
Yes, really showing the running back room tonight how large it is.
Tarikas gets tripped up. Casey trying to find somebody, and he's taken down. The time on his clock ran out as the Panthers get him down on the ground.
And that was a grown man tackle right there, Justin. Grabbing him by his shoulder pads and being like, hey, I'm stronger than you, and just throwing him down. WWE style right there, too.
Tate Zimmerman was on that play and got him down on the ground. He had 3 sacks against Redlands last week. Now Jaden Casey, 3rd and long in their own territory. And this might be a big play here for the Kingsmen, a turning point for certain if they're not able to convert here. Casey finding somebody, he's got pressure, he gets out of it, and he's tripped up from behind. A first down saving tackle from the Panthers defense there.
This Chapman defense has really come alive in this second quarter, Justin. After that first possession where they let up the touchdown, really just haven't seen anything from this Kowloon offense since then.
Number 33, Harrison Donato, the senior out of Waipahu, Hawaii, from Kamehameha High School, was on that play. Was able to trip up Casey. He didn't get too far. He had a pick 6 against the Redlands. He took it back for 30 yards, so he's making contributions in place of K. Jordan. The punt here taken from Adams. No fair catch called. Trying to trip. Ooh, breaks some ankles there, spinning around, still on his feet. And a small return turns into a pretty...
And really just a great song to play.
As he's moving around. Well, here we go. The Panthers on offense once again. Yelling there. And Jake Foy in the backfield. He gets his first carry of the game. And he's tackled down for a good gain of about 4 yards on that play. So the Panthers also switching it up on the running back class here too. Jake Foy out of Santa Margarita Christian High School. Played 1 season at Santa Barbara City College. He's a home product here in Anaheim, California. Also another transfer of note for this Panthers team. So here's Yellen. Foy once again gets the handoff, cutting back on the inside, and he's taken down after a minimal gain.
He's met by Hunter Hall at the 39-yard line. 3rd down.
Jake Foy was on the run. When he was playing at Santa Barbara City College, he ran for 396 yards, and he was averaging 4.5 yards a carry.
I mean, to be able to run that fast and jump that high, this dude is a athletic freak.
So right now we're, per NCAA rules this season, obviously a new one, the 2-minute rule here. Not really the 2-minute warning, because that's more of an NFL thing, but the NCAA calls it a 2-minute timeout here. So getting closer to the end of the first half here. Now, the Panthers are on a 3rd down and short here. The Kingsmen need to get the ball back, maybe go into that 2-minute drill type of style. run the ball down the field.
It's been scary watching Jaden Casey pass the ball so far in this game. I mean, too many interceptions already, and then the run game at the start looked good, but then it's been shut down, so I really don't know, Justin.
Oh, and a drop here from Jason Bruce as Yellen was trying to find him downfield. That would have given him the first down gain. So the Kingsmen do get the stop here. Under 2 minutes to go. They're going to get off the field, their defense, and the offense will be back out here. On the punt, the first time tonight, Carson Nichols, another transfer out of Eastern Kentucky, a Division I FCS school. He's out here on the punt. And on the other side, number 12, Desmond Thompson, will get the return. This one drops on the inside. Bad bounce. Goes the other way than intended. And entirely great punt there from Nichols. And the Kingsmen get a fairly good starting point with just under 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, fairly good starting point, being close to the midfield line. And then also, they got plenty of time. They have 1:44 left. They have 2 timeouts left. They have a chance to really score right now.
Cal Lutheran so far in this game has only managed 5 first downs. The Panthers have only managed to get 12, have gotten 12, so obviously the prowess coming here. Breakaway here from the running back, out into open space and taken down from behind. Nearly got away from on the run. They're going fast here as they get the first down yardage. The clock is ticking, under 1:30 now in the first half. Casey looking to pass the ball down the field. He's got pressure, he's got to roll out. Donato in his face, and he just throws it towards the sideline, and it's nearly picked off as he was going down. Kyle Sieben.
Very weird play right there by Casey. Would have rather seen him just run out of bounds on that or get the extra yardage running forward. It seemed like he could have, but instead he just tries to throw it to the ground, stop the clock. Just not really the brightest move right there, Justin.
Not a smart move indeed. Second down and 10. Casey looking downfield. He's got his man for a short gain inside, and it's number 12, Desmond Thompson on the catch. They're trying to go fast here. Cal Lutheran does have 2 timeouts left. Interesting that they're not using him, because now they're down to under 45 seconds of the first half. Third down and long. Casey just dumps it off to the running back. And a good tackle there from Rennick Martin on the outside perimeter to stop the gainage.
And that's a smart play there by that defensive back, waiting for the player to come and then just wrapping him up, putting him on the ground. Nothing fancy, nothing special, but smart.
Definitely smart. 4th down here and 5 to go. They keep the offense out there, but the clock is running under 15 seconds. Looks like the Kingsmen are going to take a conservative move here and just go to the locker room, trailing by 14 points. And now they're starting to march out of the field as the Panthers are raising the fans to get loud. And the clock strikes 0 in the first half. 21-7 is your score so far between the Panthers and the Kingsmen. And a very interesting first half of play here today in this homecoming game. Seemed like the Kingsmen kind of had the upper hand in that first quarter, getting the touchdown on that second drive, and then the Panthers came back and scored not just 1, not just 2, but 3. 3 times in that end zone.
Yes, 3 unanswered touchdowns right there. If I was Cal Lu right now, I would go back into the locker room and try to find something new. Try to find something to surprise this Chapman team.
Definitely do, and they're going to have to do that in particular. What do you think will be the strategy as they go into the locker room to talk with their coach?
I mean, I feel like they've really got to buy into this run game. I mean, it's clearly worked, getting it to the outside, getting the blockers out there, getting them to move up, and really letting their running backs do the majority of the work. Jaden Casey has not been showing that he's the man tonight. He's already thrown two interceptions, really hasn't shown that he's calm in the pocket. So yeah, go more into the running game.
Definitely do. They used a lot of running backs here tonight. Well, we've seen plenty of fireworks. We're going to send it here soon to what is about to be a big show. So we will be back here on CSBN. Welcome back inside the booth. The smoke has kind of filled the field here, and hopefully we're going to see some more fireworks here in this game. And what we mentioned earlier in the broadcast was about the 94 team. They're here tonight, and they're going to be honored down on the field. Stephen Hogenkamp is down on the sideline to give us a little bit more detail about that. Stephen.
Thank you, Ben and Justin. You know, like you said, the 1994 team is behind me, but just before that, this game has really been a tale of two halves. It was the Cal Lutheran Keensmen that really opened up the floodgates, controlling the ball both on the ground, on offense and defense, winning that battle in the trenches, opening up the score, but then it was Chapman capping off 3 unanswered touchdowns. 2 amazing grabs by Quentin Biebel and Amir Adams, who really made up for a couple drops they had earlier in the game. But this defense on the Chapman side has really flipped the switch, showing why they were one of the better defenses in the SCIAC last season. And as mentioned, the 1994 team is behind me. Big significance with them is they were one of the first teams in 60-plus years for football at Chapman. And we have a great package on 30-plus years of Chapman history, brought to you by CSBN.
Homecoming, a special occasion every single year, a time to reflect, but most importantly, to show what we and many others have built brick by brick here.
Chapman University football.
My name's David Bishop. I'm the assistant head coach, defensive coordinator, and this is my 31st year. Been here a while. When we first started football here, there was tremendous excitement in the community. Starting in 1994, had to play where they had no chance of really going to a playoff game or anything, and then helped us get into the SCIAC. And our freshman class here is, just about as big as our entire school was back then, and just that tradition that I think are just what it means to be a Chapman football player, both on and off the field and academically, in the community. It's just been exciting to see the tremendous growth of the program.
How we doing? Michael Leahy, graduated in 2014, played quarterback here. Coach Owens first came in 2006, so he was just starting to get a lot of his recruiting classes coming in. So he's got his players and his identity all over this program, not only from just, getting the stadium built, to getting new sides of the stadium, but also just the many traditions that goes on at Chapman football. And in 2012, we were able to get into the SCIAC conference, which took the program to a whole nother level. The legacy is just, leaving it better than how you found it. So 30 years of Chapman football, been happy with the success.
My name is Dylan Keefe, class of 2021. I was an outside linebacker, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, 2-time first-team All-American. Chapman's changed a lot since I've been here. When you look around, half the stadium wasn't complete, so it looked a lot different. In terms of the program, not a lot's changed. I feel like it's just grown and become more complete. It's always been the same goal, very character-driven, build leaders and build men. My favorite memory here is probably the 2019 Linfield game. Getting our first playoff win, triple overtime, is a stepping stone, of where we want to be nationally in Division III. So you've been through something that not a lot of people have gotten to do before. It makes you part of a family, it makes you part of an alumni network, but it just shows, the way that you've bought in and all the hard work that you've done to create what we have here today. It's why I come back here and coach. I wear it on my chest, I wear it on my arm. I think that's what that legacy means.
Heck of a video. Thanks to Dominic Fan for putting that video together. You get a little bit of insight about those teams. Now, we got a lot of insight here and just to see the 94 team, and now you see them packing the field here. They're back here tonight being honored for this occasion. Big for this program.
Very big for this program. The starters of this amazing football program that we see down here. And then they're also getting a pretty good show tonight for welcoming them back to their home. And then also looking at those jerseys from the package, started off a little rough, just with the number no name of the school or anything. I don't know how they could make that look a little drippy, but it was sure fun to watch.
Certainly was, and this program was gone from the public eye for the longest time. They decided to bring it back in '94, and through then until 2010, they were a D3 independent, so they had different implications for the playoffs every single year because they weren't part of a conference. And then in 2011, they just decided to say, hey, we're going to go join the Southern California Interscholastic Athletic Conference, and now they're here. And ever since then, since that time, 4 championships, 2014, 2017, 2019, and now 21, and then obviously 23 last year. So a lot of championships to go around. Great to see that these team is back out here tonight, and a big honor here for these teams, and bringing the homecoming spirit here for all these fans here tonight. It must be a lot for these fans. Hey, before we go to the break, we've got a great studio show at Dodge College with Nico Schwegler, Ella Madarelli, and Lucas Patton. They're down there at the studio going to give you guys some of the stuff after the break, so stick around. You're going to see them in just a few moments, and we're going to take a break here at Wilson Field. Huge game here tonight, homecoming. The magic is still just about to come through. We'll see you guys after this break.
Welcome to the CSBN Halftime Show.
Welcome, everybody, to the CSBN Halftime Show. I'm Nico Schwegler.
I'm Ella Madarelli.
And I'm Lucas Patton. And to really start the conversation off, Nico, it has been a chaotic first half of football. We saw a fumble lead to a touchdown from Joey Yellen. We saw lots of fumbles from both sides of the team, and also lots of interceptions. So how do you think it's been so far?
No doubt about it. It's been a turnover fest, you guys, so far. 3 interceptions total, 2 from Cal Lutheran, 1 on Chapman side. As you mentioned, that Joey Yellen fumble that almost turned into a catastrophic situation. Instead, it leads to a touchdown. And Ella, so far, this game has had everything that you could have wanted written all over it.
It really does. I mean, we look at the atmosphere in the stadium tonight. Everyone is so excited how we turned that fumble around into a touchdown. I mean, this could not be looking better for Chapman at the moment.
Of course, and for Chapman, I'm sure they are going to be very pleased with some of the aspects in that first half. Of course, we saw great performances from Pacheco and Orsino running the ball. They've been spectacular so far, Nico.
No doubt. It's been a tough passing performance, especially early in that game. That first interception on the first drive by Yellen. And when that happens, you got to go to your rush attack. And that's exactly what they did. They went to Gio Orsino, their bell cow, their senior star, and he really carried the load, not only in the rushing game, Ella, but also in the passing game, being able to make defenders miss and was just super patient. But when you have a guy like Tyler Pacheco, that novelty in the offense just provides so much for Bob Owens.
Yes, I mean, time and time again, Tyler Pacheco is coming through in these critical moments with that rush attack. He's providing versatility, providing novelty with big runs, keeping the defense really off ease at the moment.
No doubt. He also has a passing touchdown. But Lucas, when we take a look at some of the biggest plays from this first half, what can you mention about this chaotic first few 30 minutes?
Thank you, Nico. And yes, in this first half, we have seen everything that the football dream can imagine. We've seen lots of very spectacular moments like the fumble leading to the touchdown. We saw lots of interceptions from both sides. Of course, we saw Yellen throw 2 interceptions, but also Cal Lutheran's quarterback throw 2 interceptions. So far it has been very first touchdown on the play. And so far, their rushing game has been very good. Of course, facing off of defend. But here we see another touchdown from the man himself, Ursino. He has been spectacular rushing. A pretty common theme from both sides of the football so far. Long throw and one of the best interceptions of the night with a big return. You love to see big returns from the safety on that one. And that was very important for Chapman to start switching up the momentum and flipping the script from them losing in the first quarter to start picking it up in the second. As we can see here, Yellen throwing the ball all the way up to Amir Adams with a beautiful touchdown, head tapping the defender, and you can't ask for better football than that. And from Chapman's perspective, I'm sure they're going to be very pleased with how that first half has played out for them. Of course, we saw lots of rushing play from both teams and also lots of play from the Chapman tight end. Some loose fingers from him. He did drop 2 of his initial passes, so that was a subject that had to be talked about. But in general, I'm sure Chapman are going to be very pleased with their first down performance and especially their rushing. And for last year's stats, it was a lot better from Cal Lutheran when it comes to throwing the stats. They had a total of 229 passing yards, while Chapman last game only had 152. Now, in this game, Chapman has been done a lot better job at throwing the ball with a lot more than Cal Lutheran, and Cal Lutheran only had a total of 31 in this first half. So far, Chapman really has had the upper hand in this game, but hopefully we'll be able to see some more impressive offensive displays. Nico?
Yeah, both teams have definitely been fantastic throughout this game, and Ella, it's really been for Chapman. The strength of this team has been the rushing attack. We touched on it previously with the likes of Ursino and Pacheco, but they need to keep that going. They had 167 rush yards in that last game last year, and now they're on track for another big-time performance out of those two.
Yes, absolutely, Nico. I think the rushing game is great. They're really doing a good job of being patient, finding the holes, and Gio Ursino has been continuously and consistently successful in his plays. So I think that's fantastic for him.
No doubt. And the offensive rust so far, we saw it early in that first quarter. Joey Yellen, first drive, first interception, but he bounced back nicely, Lucas, and especially being able to settle in. He didn't have quite the connection that he would have wanted with his wide receivers, but now starting to find it. Obviously, Amir Adams topping that one off.
Of course, and it was a great catch from Amir Adams. And usually for football games, especially on big occasions like homecoming, it does take a second to maybe dust off some cobwebs, get accustomed to the atmosphere, and so far he's done a great job at getting used to it.
And on the other side of the ball, you also have to take a look at Cal Lutheran. Right now, it's been an up and down game for them, but definitely the brightest spot has been their rushing attack. Nearly 70 yards on the ground, Ella, and so far they've been able to contend, but they need a little bit more from everywhere across the field to be able to get back in this game.
Yes, absolutely. I feel like Cal Lu is really keeping their focus and their endurance throughout the game, and that's really doing well for their rush attacks.
No doubt. And when we take also a look at what happens with Cal Lu's weaknesses, it's been Jaden Casey at the helm, Lucas. 4 of 11 on his pass attempts, 2 interceptions. What do you think needs to happen for him to get back on track the second half?
Of course. I'm sure that Jaden Casey really needs to maybe recenter himself at the break, but I'm sure that these coaches know all about how to help their quarterback out.
No doubt about that, as we'll send it back towards the field where we have everything coming up. Will Chapman be able to get their homecoming quest back on track, or will it be the Kingsmen who take the crown tonight? We'll be sending it back from CSBN Halftime Postgame Live. I'm Nico Schwegler.
I'm Ella Matarelli.
And I'm Lucas Patton.
And we'll see you at Postgame.
Welcome back, everybody, here to Wilson Field here at Ernie Chapman Stadium. Homecoming night. So far, it's been a great game between these two teams, Chapman and Cal Lutheran. Chapman up by 14 going into the second half here. We've seen a great game so far. A lot of turnovers, a lot of touchdowns, a lot of, like you said, circus plays coming out here today. We're going to get things kicked off here, but Ben, let's talk about it. We talked about it just before we went to the break and just seeing what they were talking about in the locker room. What's it going to take for the Kings to get right back into this game?
I mean, like I said, getting that run game in order, really not letting Casey get those wild passes, letting them stay calm in the pocket, and that also has to go with the big boys up front. They got to block better. The Chapman defense has gotten through this line so easily, like a hot knife through butter.
They certainly have, and here we go, going into the start of the second half here. The Panthers kick to begin the game, so they'll receive here in the second half. Daniel Burgess on the kickoff. We're just about to get underway. A lot of storylines to cover, but the Panthers are going to try to say otherwise to run up the score here. Taking it out. Loggeman on the return, bouncing over a man, a flag down on the field. And it's a fairly good return up to the 27-yard line. We'll see what the flag is. Loggeman is shaking his head. It seems like it's probably against the Panthers.
During the return, holding, number 12 on the return team. 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
That's on Nick Tawney, number 12 for the Panthers, senior out of Rockland, California. Career-wise, has 103 yards and 2 touchdowns in his career. And just right now not working out on the return game so far. So that'll back the Panthers up inside the 20 in their own territory at the 17-yard line. The Panthers are dominating in terms of receiving yards right now. They're over 100 yards combined with all the receivers. Here's Yellen handing it off to Ursino to start off the second half and running into a big line of Kingsmen on the defense. They're trying to get things going here in the second half. Ursino back out here on this rushing game. The Panthers are averaging 5.6 yards a carry so far.
And that's great when your running game is really working. I mean, we see that this is a mainly pass-happy team, but when your run game is working as well, you have that second option on your offense.
Ursino trying to get through the tackles, and he's taken down by the Kingsmen defense. Diego Serrano on the tackle there, the senior out of Garden Grove, California. We talked about him before the broadcast, one of the top defensive players for this team. Coming into this game, he had 22 tackles, or 22 solo, 6 assist tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 1 breakup, and 1 forced fumble. He's been a force to be reckoned with for this Cal Lutheran team. Look to him to try to get his guys out the field here on a 3rd and 4th situation. Joey Yellen and Ursino to his right. Just need 4 to get to the game. Yellen down to Ursino to his check down. He gets through, and that will move the sticks on the check down to Ursino. The Panthers electing to go for the short gain. He's pushed out by Agenhart Ellis IV, number 9 for the Kingsmen, and that moves the sticks, Ben.
Yes, just a great play there by Ursino. Runs it out, and then when he gets that extra push from behind, he leaps out, reaches with his arm, gets extra yardage on that play.
The Kingsmen trying to get off the field here in the start of the second half. Not doing so, that moved the sticks. Quentin Biebel in motion. Yellen once again hands out to Ursino as he runs to the outside.
On the carry, back down by Max Suarez.
But able to make the tackle there to get Ursino off of his feet. And a short gain there of about 4 yards.
Panthers are taking their time now on offense, really trying to take as much clock as they can so that it really just squeezes this Cal Lutheran team into a loss and a win for these Panthers.
Andrew Latu is now in the game. Sophomore, 5'10", out of Redwood City, California. Yellen stepping back. Got enough time. Throws it down to Loggeman on the crosser. Makes a stiff arm move, and he's down. And that once again moves the sticks for the Panthers as they get closer to Kingsman territory.
it just looks like this Cal Lutheran defense has been caught sleeping on every single one of these slant routes. We saw that in the second quarter. That's how it got the momentum starting for this Panthers offense. And even now, they're still able to get that slant coming to our right side of the field. It's too simple for Yellen, really. Just a little flick pass to whoever's coming down. It's just a beautiful play call for the Panthers, and we'll see if Cal Lutheran can find out what's going on with this defense.
Andrew Latu on to the right of Yellen, and now Jake Foy is in the backfield as well. Motion here by Biebel and a whistle timed.
Prior to the delay game, timeout, Chapman. First timeout of the half.
So the near clock rundown here for the Panthers. They just elect to take the timeout to start off the second half. But very interesting so far. Gio Orsino is leading the team in receiving yards. He's got 4 receptions for 43 yards, averaging 10.8 yards a catch, and that is a big stat line.
And that's all after the catch yards. For most of his catches, he's in the backfield. He's adjacent with Yellen, catches the ball, looks upfield, and most of the time, it's pretty wide open for him as he just catches it and runs it out, Justin.
Last year when the Panthers took a visit to Thousand Oaks, California against the Cal Luther Kingsmen, they lost that game 21-24 in a very close one. And that was the game where they had an injury with Espinoza, and that's when Tyler Pacheco checked into the game for the Panthers throughout that stretch. It's an interesting season last year for the Panthers. And then when they played them again in October of the 21st, they beat them 38-10. Right now, the Panthers are so far dominating. Latu on the carry, and a short gain here on first down.
Latu on the carry. Tackled by Ardoita. The other 49.
Historically, this team is fairly even. Both of these teams are fairly evened out. 16-14 is the all-time record here. But in the last 12 matches, the Panthers have won 11 of these matchups. The only time was obviously that last year's game. Jake Foy back in the backfield. Latu to his right, pulls it. Play action for Yellen. Down the field, and it looked like he was getting slightly held as Mazzano as the pass is incomplete.
Yeah, very close right there to what would have been a pass interference call on the defense right there. Just right at the end, pulls his hand back. Looks like he didn't do anything, when in reality, we know he pushed him a little bit.
My apologies, that was Andrew Latu on the target there on the wheel route. Very close to a penalty there. Now Zimmerman is in for the game, and also on the other side, Tyler Pacheco is checked in. Mazzano in the slot. Orsino back into the game. Motion to Biebel. Yellen stepping in the pocket. He's got pressure in his face, and he just throws it to his wideout in Zimmerman. He's tackled by the Kingsmen. Good stop there to not give him too much yards up to the line to gain on third down. And that's a stop for the Kingsmen. It's going to be fourth down and about 4 yards as Carson Nichols is going to come out here for the second time tonight to punt this thing away. And that's what the Kingsmen were probably looking for on this first drive here.
Yes, big stop by the Kingsmen right there, giving the ball back to their offense, seeing if they can put some points up in this game.
Better punt from Nichols here, and it's a fair catch at about the 16-yard line. Catch made by number 12, Desmond Thompson. He's been the main punt returner so far tonight.
They mark it at the 17-yard line, will be first down for Tommy.
And now we'll get to see the Kingsmen offense return back out here on the field. We'll see what type of approach that they're going to bring out here coming out of the locker room, led out by their quarterback number 5, Jaden Casey, my apologies. Here's the first play. It's a handoff to the Kingsmen into the big crowd of Panthers and Kingsmen all together. Thanks for tossing this out. Number 22, Gabe Landless on the carry there. Just a short gain. And checking out the play. So now that they're out here after getting the stop, the question is, what kind of approach will they have here going into this drive, Ben?
Well, you want to open up the run game still.
Jane Casey out to his tight end and is dropped. And it was good coverage there by Jacob Gotti, working on number 87, Anthony Valencia. Still has yet to get a reception here for the Cal Lutheran Kingsmen.
And that's partially why I want them to go into the run game more. Their pass game has not been very reliable today, with players dropping the ball, with Casey throwing interceptions. It just hasn't been their strong suit today, Justin.
Casey on third down, going with the long ball. He's got a man open and it's caught down the middle. That's Cade Cadam on the catch, a big play against their number one DB in Reddick Martin down the field. A big momentum pusher here for the Kingsmen.
Well, I take back everything that I just said, Justin. That was a beautiful throw there by Casey, putting it right into his breadbasket. Also, DB got lost a little bit there.
A great play here from the Kingsmen. The first beautiful pass we've seen from Jaden Casey so far in this game. And now they're inside Panthers territory already after that third down play. Huge for the Kingsmen. A handoff here to Landless, and he's breaking through tackles. Big gain here on the run. Kingsmen are working. The machines are operating, and the engine is kicking in a high gear so far. That moves a 6 once again on the first down play. They're going to go a little fast here. Now scratch that. Three wide receivers to the bottom. Casey hands it off to Landless, and he's taken down in the backfield. Great play there from the Panthers defense. Tate Zimmerman on the tackle to get Landless down on the ground. And once again, Zimmerman making an impact on the tackle for loss there, Ben.
And just really beautiful there, slipping right through that O-line, getting into the backfield, and then wrapping up the running back from behind, really showing off the speed and strength of Tate Zimmerman right there.
Zimmerman in his time when he was at New Mexico, he got 12 tackles and 1 sack in 2023. Now operating here with his brother. Casey gets a snap, pushing up in the pocket, nearly taken down. He somehow stays on his feet. He's going to the outside, tracing down, and he's nearly going to the end zone, and he's pushed out of bounds just at about the 2 inside the 1. That Alex Tarikas was there for the sack, and somehow Casey got away with the special moves.
Just super slippery in that pocket right there, going under all the defenders' arms. I thought he was going to get sacked right there immediately, but he gets out and gets a massive gain for this Kingsman offense.
So the Kingsman offense now inside the red zone. They called him out at the 4-yard line. Big opportunity here for the Kingsmen to get back into this game. Under center is Casey. He will hand it off to Landless. Can Landless get through? Not much of a gain there on the first down and goal.
And another example of a Chapman player getting into the backfield and really just interrupting the entire play for the Kingsmen offense. We've seen that a lot throughout this entire game.
Tate Zimmerman on the tackle, and including Alexander Tarikas in there. Bob Owens watching from the sidelines. It's a second down and goal for the Panthers defense as they're trying to defend against the Kingsmen. So far, the Kingsmen are making splash plays here in this second half. Casey in the shotgun, the timeout as Anthony Lugo comes out to call
California
the timeout
Lutheran,
for the Kingsmen.
first charge timeout of the half.
And they're going to take a small little breather here.
And that's just giving their offense a breather, giving their big boys up front a breather. I mean, they've ran the ball a lot on this possession, and kudos to the O-line. They've done a great job of stopping everything coming from up front, but it's the sides that need work. The sides have let in so many Chapman defenders to come wrap around and just suffocate either Jaden Casey or whichever one of their running backs they have in at that point.
Certainly do. We just saw some of the Chapman returners coming back here. Former players all here tonight showing off their rings for this team. No, the Kingsmen are operating at the goal line. 2nd and goal coming up here after the timeout. Seemed like Anthony Lugo didn't like what he saw from the defense of the Panthers. They're getting back into the huddle now. Big opportunity here for the Kingsmen. They've got a running back in the backfield. He takes the Wildcat, and he's trying to bowl through like the fridge. The refs are calling him short. The Kingsmen say he's in. Landless trying to get in there and just stop short. Good stand for the Panthers, but they're at the 1-yard line, 3rd and 1. Tush push formation. Can they get through? Does the line jump? Still looking for the signal. They're digging through. The Panthers and the Kingsmen all piled on each other. Touchdown! Touchdown, Kingsmen! They went fast. They went with the Eagles' signature play, and they get into the end zone, and they're right back in this game, Ben.
Whatever you call it, the brotherly shove, the tush push, it's just an organized group of mass just trying to get that ball across the line. And then when you're on the 1-yard line, it's so hard to stop that play with, especially with having multiple players over 300 pounds on this O-line.
You see this great view here of the tush push right there at the goal line. Kingsmen get through. PAT from Daniel Burgess is good. Trailing by 7 points now, the Kingsmen, they're right back into this game here in the second quarter, under 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. They had a lot of momentum going into this drive, and you know, the Panthers had a chance to stop them on that 3rd down earlier in the beginning of the drive, and then that big pass down to Cade Cadam in the middle, working on Reddick Martin, it seemingly sparked something in them.
Yes, indeed. It did spark something in this offense that, to be honest, I didn't even see. Casey hadn't thrown a good ball basically this entire game, and to throw something like that, it just brings his confidence back, brings the team's confidence back, and just is a massive booster for this team's morale.
Hard to see from up here after that play, but Jaden Casey was given the touchdown on that tush push, and obviously so because he was the guy in the middle. But you can consider it an unfair play, but it is part of the game of football, and it helped the Kingsmen get right in there. Credit the Kingsmen to get that score. Now the Panthers will have to respond as the Kingsmen will kick this one away. Little squibble kick here. And it's picked up by and tossed down just beyond the 30-yard line. Still a good return from Pacheco, regardless. So the Panthers are gonna operate from the 31-yard line. Speaking of which, big night for college football. A lot of interesting games happening out. One of the big ones we were looking at before the broadcast was Vanderbilt and Alabama, #1 team in the nation. Vanderbilt took them down 40-35, and not just that, other teams around the country as well. Michigan, #10 in the nation, went down 17-27 against Washington, and then USC fell to Minnesota, who USC is #11 in the country. A lot of big games tonight.
A lot of upsets. We'll see.
Where
pushed out of bounds by John Moore. The 32-yard line, 2nd down.
Taken down at the 32-yard line. The Panthers are trying to get an answer back here against the Kingsmen after they scored that touchdown. Loggeman comes in. Ari Vandenberg comes out. Amir Adams at the bottom of your screen. Yellen's out in the shotgun. Rushing for the outside. Yellen, little flick of the wrist down the field. It is caught! Caught down the field! Jason Bruce on the catch. My goodness. Went vertical for the seams and got the catch from Yellen.
We haven't talked a lot about Jason Bruce tonight except for maybe one drop play earlier, but that was amazing. Using a player that really hasn't been talked about, really hasn't been thrown too much this game, really being the surprise factor on that play.
Here's Yellen again, throwing it down to his tight end, Biebel. He gets a short gain here. Tackle inside. Clock is going to run. But going back to that play, huge play there. Had a defender working on him. And Yellen nearly had some pressure coming from the far side with Blake Hurley, number 11, coming from the free safety side on the safety blitz there. And Jason Bruce, we haven't really talked about him too much, but like we said, one of the under-the-radar receivers for this Panthers team. Again, showing off why their talent on the wide receiver position is so deep. Here is a handoff to Orsino as he's trying to run up the gut. He's still on his feet, but he's being pushed down by the Kingsman defense. Number 5, Jake Frey on the tackle, included number 40, Anthony Gallego.
To the 21-yard line, it's third down.
So 3rd down and 5. Panthers need to get 5 to move the sticks, obviously. Nick Tani at the bottom of the screen. And number 27, Brendan Mazzano, or Amir Adams at the top for this Panthers offense. Waiting in grand anticipation of a huge score here. Yellen steps back. Going for Adams. And it is, looks like it was picked off. And it is from the Kingsmen. Yet another interception thrown by Yellen in the end zone.
Very hard job to do keeping up with Amir Adams. Very fast guy. Seeing him at practice, I'm blown away by his speed. But that was just amazing coverage. Reading where the quarterback is looking. And of course on a play like that, he's going to go to his number 1 target.
You see the Kingsmen away bench and their fans here on the Keck side of the stadium are getting loud. The players trying to rile up this crowd here on the other side of the stadium where we are up here in the booth. Casey hands it off to CJ Zachary as he gets a short gain here on the 1st down. But what a big momentum switch there. Panthers, you know, the Jason Bruce got that catch earlier in that drive, and then a little underthrown by Yellen there on the pass to Amir Adams. And now the Kingsmen have a chance to tie, not just tie the game, but take some of that momentum back that they lost from the 1st quarter.
Yeah, just need a little bit more air on that throw. And yes, the morale of this Kingsman team is super high. They just scored a touchdown. They just got an interception.
Well, the momentum just got pushed down there from the Panthers defense on that play, as the running back was taken down in CJ Zachary. Seth Holbrook on the tackle there, getting him down. And that was a tackle. We saw this earlier to start the second half, a big deep throw to Cadam. We're about to see what they're going to do here on 3rd and long. Yeah, they're trying to go for the deep ball, but he's in trouble. Casey gets out of the pocket somehow. He's running around looking for somebody. Makes Seth Holbrook miss. My apologies, Steven. And he's taken down just before he could try to get to the 1st down line. So he couldn't find anybody downfield, and it'll be 4th down. The Kingsmen will have to punt it away.
And while Casey was short on that one, what an advantage. Get a man to miss and try to get that 1st down. Even though it was short, it was a great attempt by Casey.
He made Zimmerman lose his ankles there. Kingsman trying to rush a player on the field. And now they're completely confused on special teams. Clock is running down, and the delay of game will be called.
Delay game, offense number 14, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
So that'll back the Kingsmen just a tad bit further on 4th down. Amir Adams is standing at about the 45 of his own territory. Kyle Howie, just another punt here for the Kingsmen. Good punt, makes Amir Adams back up. He doesn't call for the fair catch, and now he's trying to find an open seam, going around the coverage. He makes a man miss, but he's taken down.
Chapman player getting thrown down.
It is starting to get chippy between these two teams. A flag down on the field. Most likely a conduct foul here coming against one of these teams here. We'll see what the call is from Timothy Kiefer. So it seems like number 18, Jonathan Borjas, on the coverage there. Unsportsmanlike conduct, like you talked about the extracurriculars. That puts the Panthers inside Kingsman territory now as they're operating at the 49-yard line of the Kingsman territory. Yellen is back in there after that interception.
I tell you what, Justin, he's going to get chewed out by his head coach coming back to that sideline.
Ursino plows through his way up for a good gain of about 8 to 9 yards on that carry going up the gut. So far, this Panthers line has done a pretty good job, especially with Jess Norton in there, who's taken the place of Luke Jones, who got injured last week. Yellen trying to pull the Aaron Rodgers move again. Second and third. Pacheco on the far side. He hands it off to Ursino, running to the outside perimeter, cuts back. Down inside, and that's enough to move the sticks once again. Clock's ticking down here in the third quarter.
He's brought down by Hunter Hall at the 36-yard line, and that is a Chapman first down.
And they're shutting it down. To the crunch time here, 21 Panthers, 14 Kingsmen. We talked about it earlier about the 94 team. We got Stephen Hogenkamp with an interview with a very special person. Let's send it down to Stephen, who
Thank you very much, Justin and Ben. And as mentioned, I am here with one of the honored 1994 team player. I'm here with Matt Smith. Matt, you were on, as mentioned, that 94 team, and it was a big team. First time in 60-plus years that Chapman had a football team. How was it being on such an important team in our history?
At the time, we didn't feel it was so historical at the time, but it was an amazing group of young men. And, you know, coming here tonight, it was like the nostalgia, like, God, you know, we started kind of what was happening tonight. You know, how the school's grown, how the football program has grown, it's been tremendous. And we're just, you know, we're honored to be a part of Chapman's history. And, you know, couldn't have asked for a better night. It's a beautiful night.
And for those of you who don't know, Matt's son, Luke Smith, is also on the team. But fourth quarter, we're about to get set, ready to go, sending it back to the field.
Thank you, Stephen. Going on to the first down, but obviously, you know, got to be a big deal for someone like Luke Smith, who's in his junior year. He's actually a transfer from Fullerton JC coming in here. And he was part of a very good Fullerton JC team that won the JS State semis coming in here. And it's got to be special when you have your dad here. And, you know, you talk about that history with the 94 team and, you know, playing just in his father's shoes, just nearly the same positions, obviously. But here's Yellen now, stepping back in the pocket all the time in the world. And now he rolls out, got pressure in his face, and he just throws it away as he was going down. No flag here. Yeah, Jackson White there, right up in his face. The senior out of Encino, California. So third down and long once again for the Panthers. The Kingsmen on the other side starting to get loud here. Yellen. Mesh set. Yellen. Enough time. Trying to. Beautiful play and a good stop here from the Kingsman defense. Blake Hurley, number 11, on the tackle.
Just read that play like a book there, Justin. He was guarding another person, getting blocked by that one, broke the block, and then sees, oh, there's a ball coming this way. Might as well tackle the guy who's receiving the ball.
So the Panthers looked like they were about to leave the offense on the field, but then Bob Owens now calling the timeout.
Chapman, second charge timeout.
Game, obviously getting into the fourth quarter now. So potentially, whatever Bob Owens is thinking of down there on the field, obviously wondering what are the chances here on fourth down. It is a 4th and 12 to go. This would be a big risky play if they decide to leave the offense out here, Ben.
It would be a very risky play, especially in a one-score game like this where your opponent's offense has been looking very strong so far in the second half. Very risky play, but you know, it's Bob Owens. I was talking with him during their Thursday practice, and that man, whew, he has so much aura that it really just shocked me. So I wouldn't be surprised if he would go out there and go for it on a 4th and 12 situation.
We've seen him do it before. We saw that in the Pacific game as well towards the end of the game where he made, Luke Peterman make a beautiful pass down to Amir Adams in that game. We'll see what he cooks up here in the kitchen. It looks like, yes, they will be bringing the offense back out here on the field. But you got to credit the Cal Lutheran Kingsman defense so far. They're trying to find a win here in this game, and they've held the Panthers to a measly 21 points so far.
This defense has been the true hero for this Kingsman team so far, Justin.
Huge momentum play here. Yellen takes the snap. Got time in the world. He takes a deep ball to nobody. And it'll be a turnover on downs. Nobody in the vicinity from Yellen. The Kingsmen get a crucial stop. Uh-oh.
Very confusing there, Justin. Looked like he had a good amount of time in the pocket there. Could have sat back, but instead he really just tries to force a throw to, I don't know, Casper the Ghost there.
Not much happening on that play. They tried the deep ball, and now the Kingsmen have a chance to tie the game with this drive here as their first drive of the fourth quarter is beginning. Casey now down the field to his tight end. And a good tackle there from Jacob Gowdy to get him down. Oh, goodness. It looks like we got a stoppage in play here. Valencia is on the ground right now after that catch.
Took a weird hit there, just straight to the leg, bent a wrong direction. Just not a very pretty look right there.
Well, while we have this stoppage in time, let's talk about what's happening around the rest of the college football world. Like we talked about Alabama going down. We talked about Michigan going down, USC going down. Obviously, the big one was Mizzou going down today against Texas A&M, number 25 in the nation. Mizzou, a lot of people thought that team was going to be going some places this season.
Yeah, Missouri came into the season very high hopes, expecting to make the college football playoffs with it being a 12-team bracket now, but just really haven't looked their best so far this season.
Valencia is getting carried off the field here by two of his teammates. That's a big hit to this Cal Lutheran's offense. The senior out of Visalia, California, came out of Mount Whitney High School. Same height as Quinn Beeble, 6'4", 235 pounds. Their backup is number 10.
He is their second target for receiving.
So Casey getting set back here, handing off to his running back, trying to find the first down yardage. He gets a good gain of about 3 yards on that carry.
Landless on the carry.
Landless on the carry there. Landless having himself a fairly good night in terms of the rushing. 11 attempts, 51 yards so far. He just had that run just now, so that adds to his average. He's averaging 4.5 yards per carry. Probably going to rely on him much tonight. Kingsman got a small bunch set, motioning the outside receiver, Casey. And Gonzalez is a flag down on the field.
Gonzalez is a flag on the play.
Working on Seth Holbrook. We'll see what the flag is here on this play. Came from the
pass interference on the offense. Number 7, 15-yard penalty for previous spot, still third down.
It came from the judge on the backside there, and that pushes the Kingsmen back. You see on the replay here, just getting bowled over by the tight end, the replacement of Valencia in.
Big guy right there.
He was working on his number 5, Seth Holbrook, 6 foot, 180 pounds. 3rd and long here for the Kingsmen. They got a lot to go through. Casey just checks it down to Cadam. He's got enough space, and he gets the first down. My, oh my. Cade Cadam just putting the team on his back.
We said it earlier in the game. I'll say it again right now. Cade Cadam is the one-man show for this team. While we haven't seen much of him in previous games, he's been one of the better players for this team. I expect them to look at him more throughout this game.
Was the SCIAC Player of the Week after their game against Central University. Here's Casey now going deep for Cadam, and it hits him on the helmet, and there's the flag. Looks like it was a holding on the defensive back there for the Panthers. Number 9, Caleb Padrid, sophomore at Dublin, California, was working on Cadam. Check on the replay here and see.
Yeah, just a hold there on the left arm.
Pass interference on the defense. Number 9, 15-yard penalty for the previous spot, automatic first down.
Yeah, holding down his left arm, invading his space to go catch the ball. Just, again, being a little bit too aggressive on that coverage right there.
Caleb Padrid had himself a game last week against the University of Redlands, 2 interceptions. He comes back here and takes the number 1 spot over Devin Cobb. Here's Casey handing it off to Ledless as he goes to the outside, bowls a man over. Just a short. Either way with that little push. So 2nd down here and short for the Kingsmen. They're getting closer to the red zone. CJ Zachary now in the backfield for the Kingsmen. He hands it off. He's got a lot. He's got a big hole up the middle, and he's taken down after the first down gain and more. The Kingsmen are going wild on the other side of the stadium. That run game is working to fruition for the Kingsmen. Silence on the Panthers side. Here's Casey, first down, throwing it down to the side. He's got Cadam working on Reddick Martin, and he's dragged down by a plethora of Panthers defenders. Colin Keefe also working on Cade Cadam there. Second down and 4. We'll check out the play. This is a big play here inside the red zone for the Kingsmen. Handoff to Zachary. He gets spun down as he was trying to get through the line there. But Tyler Hill, number 94, says otherwise.
This is a big play here right now for the Kingsmen, looking to tie up the game, and a game where it looked like they were lost in the dust of Chapman's red-hot offense. But in the second half, Chapman's offense has been shut down. It's been the Kingsmen's offense who has picked up the slack and made this a very interesting game.
Casey under center. They're trying to push again. The brotherly push on 3rd down and short. They're going to dig through the pile to see where this ball is going to be placed. It looks like he may be short. We'll see what the judge says with the ball. And they're going to bring the chain. No matter what the outcome is here, this is going to swing the momentum in either way here, Ben.
Yes, this is going to swing the momentum. looking to tie this game for the Kingsmen side.
Sessions over.
Here comes the chain gang here. Question is, can you put a piece of paper in between the ball and the chain?
This is a big.
And it looks like he got it on the first down off the tush push. First down for the Kingsmen. A drainer for the Panthers there on the defensive side.
This Panthers defense has a lot of work cut out for them. This running game from the Kingsmen side has looked very good. And it looks like they've brought more of the passing game in. Casey's looked more comfortable in the pocket. So we'll see if they can score a touchdown right here.
CJ Zachary in the backfield to his left. Timeout called here from the Panthers. That's their final timeout of the half.
Chapman, their final timeout of the game.
Maybe a crucial timeout there called by Bob Owens. Who knows? We still got under 9 minutes to go in this fourth quarter and this game itself. But this is a big deal here. Obviously, the Kingsmen just got the first down. They're working first and goal with 6 yards to go to the end zone. This is a big moment here. Stephen Hogenkamp is actually down on the sidelines. We'll send it to Stephen for the injury.
Thanks, Ben and Justin. Yeah, we saw number 87, Anthony Valencia, go down with what appeared to be a lower body injury. And I was on the sideline of the Kingsmen, and the prognosis did not look good. Valencia seemed to be upset with himself that it could be a possible season-ending injury if the diagnosis looks like what it might be. Would be a huge loss, not just in this game for the Kingsmen, but for the season. Coming into today, Anthony Valencia was second on the team in receiving, so a big target gone for them in this game. Back up to you, Justin and Ben.
Thank you, Stephen. Yeah, a big hit here. Ben talked about it earlier about that, and obviously Davian Gonzalez there, number 10, in for Valencia, number 87. Here we go, first and goal for the Kingsmen. Snap here, down to Cadam, making a catch. Touchdown, Kingsmen. Cadam working on Rannick Martin, gets in the end zone. Kingsmen one away from tying it here at Wilson Field.
And that right there, you're just showing, hey, I'm a bigger guy than you. Like I've said before with a bunch of other plays, getting in front of him, boxing out like you would in basketball to get a rebound, but instead he's catching this beautifully thrown pass.
And you could argue that was kind of underthrown there by Cadam, obviously one of the best receivers on this team here, making a great catch and against a really good D-back in Rannick Martin. Ooh, off the posts. The PAT is no good. Off the top of the post. A crucial extra point missed by Daniel Burgess. And now the Panthers are getting crazy.
And that's the second miss tonight by this kicker. First with the field goal at the start of the game with the first possession, just a little wide due to the wind, I assume. And then that one right there, just off the post. Like, it's an extra point. It should be good most of the time. Very surprising to see it miss there, Justin.
Being a kicker myself, those are always the toughest ones to miss, especially on the PATs, because you know how big it is, but they do happen in the NCAA level, and we see that even in the NFL, it's a big deal, and it's, see so, and obviously you just saw that there. Daniel Burgess was coming into this game 4 out of 5 on field goals. Obviously that missed PAT and also the missed field goal, a big one here. Now the Kingsmen have the pressure back on their shoulders because they weren't able to tie up the game there. Burgess back onto the kickoff. Send this down to the Panthers. Pacheco grabs this one and he takes a kneel down in the end zone. Touchback for the Panthers. So that might change up the strategy and the mindset of Bob Owens now going into this drive, because yes, if they tied it, then you would probably think, okay, we got to go maybe a little aggressive with the run game, mix it up a little bit. But now, maybe a little more conservatively, especially with the type of running game that they have here.
Yes, I assume that they're going to give the ball to Gio Ursino a lot more now, just trying to milk the clock, get to the end of this game. But also, Kalu still has 2 timeouts left in this game. So they still have a fighting chance to get some more points on the board.
Pacheco takes himself from the Wildcat, cutting back inside, and he's taken down. Good gain there. We've seen that formation a lot tonight. Use the defense with Gio Orsino and Pacheco there together. Kind of hard to keep track because obviously both of them have really good running statistics.
Yes, both of them are great weapons in this running game. Looks like they're going to stick with the Wildcat formation right now, keeping Pacheco in the backfield.
Well, if it ain't broken, you don't need to fix it. Second and short here. Just trying to run down the clock. Pacheco takes the snap, making people miss. But not much there on the game, but it is enough to move the chains once again. They're going to let the clock run down here, obviously. And that's probably the big emphasis on this drive.
Looks like a little equipment problem right there with Pacheco with his shoulder pads. Had to go off to the sideline, yelling back in at quarterback.
Their run tight end is in there, Ari Vandenberg. And now Yellen's back under in the shotgun, hands it off to Orsino, looking for an open space. Tackle down from the Kingsman defense. Max Suarez on in the tackle. Number 6, Diego Serrano as well. Still turned out to be a good game, about 4 there on that rush from Orsino. Amir Adams is now back into the game. Log him in on the far side. Yellen takes a snap. Small little rush here, and he hands it off to his running back, Orsino. Yeah, they're definitely trying to kill the clock here. Orsino getting up closer to a manageable 3rd and short here, up to the 47-yard line.
Already killed about 2 minutes too, Justin, on the clock from the start of their drive.
Kingsmen still have two timeouts here in this game. They're checking out the play here. Kingsmen are now getting loud on the sideline on the other side. Yellen hands off to Orsino, trying to dig through the defense. Refs gonna call him in front of the yard to gain. That will move the chains for another Panthers first down. The clock is gonna continue to run, obviously, because they're running the ball here. And they're switching the formation again. Jason Bruce into the game. Quentin Biebel is now in there, and now they have low snap to Pacheco, picks it up, stays on his feet, and he's tackled down after a decent gain. Pacheco is too tough, too tall to take down. And you got to argue about Pacheco, kind of a Taysom Hill role on this Panthers offense.
Yeah, he's been playing super well, a great player. A lot of the times with these, he'll get tripped up at the start, but he'll keep his legs pumping, keep moving forward. Yes, very Taysom Hill-esque, a player where you can really put them anywhere, like a Swiss Army knife.
Nick Taney in, Zimmerman in. Fake handoff. Ooh, Yellen had some pressure in his face. He throws it down on the ground. The coach wants an intentional grounding call here. No flag out here yet. I think the refs are conferring. There's nobody in the vicinity. Waiting for something. And there's the flag.
Justin, was the defender coming off the edge. They were really seeing if he influenced that throw enough, if he got in his way enough, if he hit his arm enough, if he knocked the ball
Intentional
over.
grounding. Number 16 of the offense. Ball got back to line of scrimmage. However, the quarterback was not out of the pocket. 3rd down.
Just, yeah. A scary play right there for the Chapman Panthers. and not a great sight either with the flag being thrown.
He had pressure in his face. He just kind of threw it away here. You see on the replay here as the safety blitz was on for Blake Hurley, and now the Panthers have to work with a 3rd and long here. After the penalty, Yellen back in there trying to get the Panthers back on their feet. Yellen got all the time in the world. Called a timer. He finds Tani, and he makes a beautiful catch down to the 30-yard line. He had 2 defenders working on him. A big 3rd down conversion for the Panthers.
Beautiful throw by Yellen there, getting it into zone. Who's in double coverage at the moment. You would think maybe not the smartest play to throw it into double coverage, but he's right in front of both of them. He gets his body, he makes his body big. He puts his hands out in front, gets a great catch.
And that was a great catch of Nick Tani there. Joey Yellen back under shotgun. Ursino, handoff, short gain. Still not on the ground yet, and now he is. Just a gain of about 1 on that run. Day for 19 yards on that last play. A huge play there for the Panthers. They're looking to run the clock down here. We're under 4 minutes to go here in this game. They're still pushing down the field in Kingsman territory.
You got to feel for Ursino's body as well. Like, he's getting dogpiled every single play, and he just gets up and goes on to the next play.
Yellen, play action to the right side to Lagerman, finding space, trying to stiff arm a man. He gets the 1st down and out of bounds as well. Great play call there from Coach Owens. Another 1st down, and you gotta imagine the Kingsmen have 2 timeouts. When did they start using those, Ben?
I mean, you gotta start using them soon. Less than 3 minutes left in the game. Time's really winding down right now for Kowloon, and they're trying to find a solution. They might need to use a timeout sometime soon.
They do have the 2-minute timeout coming up. They have 2 timeouts. They essentially have 3 timeouts here, but they need to get a stop here against the Panthers. Joey Yellen back in there. Ursino gets the handoff, puts his head down, off to a short gain here. Ursino inching closer to the 100-yard mark once again. If he's able to get there, this would be his 3rd game of 100 yards plus in the last 4 weeks of the season. They're just trying to kill the clock here. The clock going down to the 2-minute timeout, and they're going to let it go.
This is the 2-minute timeout.
So we've reached the 2-minute timeout. Kingsman working with a 2nd and long here against the Panthers. They need the ball back if they want to take this down. What a crucial PAT miss that was earlier in this game.
Massive PAT miss. That swung the advantage for this game drastically for this Chapman Panthers team. I mean, they now have the advantage. They're now in the driver's seat. They got the 1-point lead. There's 2 minutes left in the game. They're super close in the red zone right now. Let's see if they can either score or, even better, get a touchdown right now.
They're going to discuss this and try to figure something out. They do still have Jax Hudson, who made a field goal. If you get stopped here, you might as well kick it to keep the pressure on against the Cal Lutheran Kingsmen, because they would have to score a touchdown regardless if they do make that field goal. But we'll see what Chef Owens cooks up in the kitchen here, Ben.
I assume it's something that goes along with root beer.
Maybe a burger.
A burger would be good.
Here's Yellen, motioning out Beeble. Takes the snap. Ursino to the outside perimeter, trying to find his way, cuts back. And a good move that gets him closer to a manageable 3rd down. And it looks like timeout called by Lugo. He takes one of those timeouts here.
Timeout. California Lutheran, their second charge timeout of the half. Game clock operator, please reset clock to 1:53.
So a big crucial third down here for the Panthers. Thanks, Whitecap. Crucial third down here for the Panthers. If they don't get this, obviously they can do the field goal job here. But this is a big one for the Kingsmen. This determines who wins this game.
This is a massive stop right here for the Kingsmen. And then on the play before, I really want to learn who Ursino's dance coach is with all those moves that he has right there, with the amazing footwork to look, find the hole, attack the hole, and then to go head first into it, no fear at all. That is something that you cannot teach.
Gio Ursino obviously being a broadcast journalism and documentary major here at Dodge, actually. Yeah, you can't learn that here. Gio Ursino obviously doing the workload. He's been the kind of the cowbell running back of this team so far. So far in the run game, the Panthers have really driven down the line, but Cal Lutheran has done a good job on rushing as well, but credit to Ursino for being the power back here. 3rd down and 4. This determines the game for both sides. Yellen finding a man, and it's nearly picked off. Oh, goodness, he wanted that one back. Number 6, Diego Serrano, just drops a cut through over in towards the end zone. Nearly had a pick. That would have been huge.
And Justin, that's what separates a defensive back from a wide receiver. A defensive back, not as good hands as a wide receiver. That should have been interception. And I know that guy thinks 9 times out of 10 that is interception. And there was no one in front of him. He would have taken that all the way to the house, Justin.
He had a lot of open space there. Field goal here from Jax Hudson. Had one last week like we talked about. 26-yarder yet again, and it is good. So the Panthers add 3 points to their score. They put a little bit more pressure on the Kingsmen. They do have 1 timeout, but Jax Hudson does the job.
And speaking of pressure, Jax Hudson right there, just beautiful, takes a deep breath right before the kick, and then goes through his motion, as he does every single time. It's beautiful to watch, and it's a beautiful sight to see it going right through the goalpost.
Very interesting. He's already had 2 field goals from the exact same spot. Now, they obviously have 2 of the best specialists arguably in their program history, Ken Byrell, and then one of the greatest punters in Owen Tapia last year. Obviously now they're gone, working with newer kickers and punters. They had a transfer like we talked about, and Jax Hudson obviously coming in here. Also a transfer from Tiffin University. Did you know he had 6 siblings?
6 siblings. Wow, that's a massive family.
Kickoff is caught here just before the 1-yard line, and taking it out is the Kingsman. No space to work with, and he goes down the sideline into the Panthers bench area. Desmond Thompson on the return.
Desmond Thompson on the return. Pushed out of bounds at the 26-yard line. It'll be first down for Cal Lutheran.
So this becomes a huge drive for the Kingsmen with 1:38 to go in this homecoming game. This is crunch time here at Wilson Field. 20 for the Kingsmen. We're about to see what's gonna happen. Casey throws it down, making moves, spinning away free, and he's taken down from the gang tackle from the Panthers, Desmond Thompson. And they're going fast. The Panthers crowd is starting to get loud now. Both sides are getting loud. Casey down to Thompson again. Working on Marty. He makes a move to the outside. He's inside Panthers territory. He goes out of bounds, so that will stop the clock with 1:13 to go. So not count him on this drive, but now Casey Thompson, or Desmond Thompson, is taking the reins on this drive.
Really looking for those low routes, those short routes, those safe passes, and then letting the wide receiver use his quick feet, his great footwork to get the extra yardage.
Jaden Casey, CJ Zachary in the backfield. He takes a snap, checks it down, and he's a good tackle from Reddick Martin. And he was tackled out of bounds, so the clock stops anyways. That'll make it second down on a short gain there.
Inbounds at the 46-yard line. Second down.
I think Rennick Martin was trying to get him to stay inbounds to get that clock to run down. Cal Lutheran does have one timeout left. Feel the stadium rumble. Casey finds Cadam down the field, going to the outside, nearly broke a tackle. Gets another first down here against Seth Holbrook, who made the tackle there. Getting closer to red zone, under a minute to go. Casey down the field, cap down. They're calling it incomplete. Number 4, Devin Cobb working on the outside there. And yeah, they're just gonna call it incomplete here, so that does stop the clock. But a dangerous throw there from Casey.
Pass ruled incomplete, player forced out of bounds and not reestablished. Second down.
I mean, that's just great coverage right there. Almost intercepted with that throw. Casey needs to really lock in right now, find those safe passes if he wants to get this win and bring it home to Kyle Lou.
Taylor Evans went out of bounds, didn't come back and establish himself. Here we go, second down and 10. Casey trying to find a man. He's got Cadam taken down from behind by the Panthers defense. And it's gonna make it third down here. Tate Zimmerman took him down. 3rd and 1. Clock is running, under 30 seconds. Gonna throw it out. It's deflected in the air and nearly picked off. Snuffing it out. Hunter Wickham on the deflection. That was big, and now it makes it 4th down and 1. 19 seconds to go. One timeout for the Kingsmen. The biggest play of this entire homecoming game coming here. The Panthers side, the fans getting on their feet. The clock is running down on the play clock. Oh my goodness. The Kingsmen take their final timeout.
Scary play right there, Justin. Just the tip pass, going back to that play before, just getting big. That was his entire goal right there. Get his arms up, get big, block the pass, and it almost intercepted. That would have ended the game right there for Kalu. It would have sealed the victory for Chapman. But big 4th and 1 play right now. And we don't know. The run game has looked very good for Kalu. What's going to happen next?
This is a big moment in this game, and obviously Hunter Wickham just made a huge play there on 3rd down and 1. They were looking for the short pass there. The sophomore out of La Mirada, California, 6 foot, 215 pounds, has 1 breakup already and 1 QB hit. Considered a backup on this 2-man deep roster. And here we go, 4th down and 1. 19 seconds to go. In the biggest game on this calendar for both teams. They're lining up, they're bringing the pressure, handoff. And he's taken down, but he does not before he gets the first down territory. Number 3, CJ Zachary. It in the ground. So after a big run there up the gut, risky play there, CJ Zachary got the first down. Jaden Casey on 2nd down and 10, 11 seconds ago, takes it himself, calls his number, and he's still on his feet, rolling out to the outside, looking for somebody, and it's off the ground, incomplete. Zeroes up, comes out, puts 1 second on the clock after the incomplete pass. It is 3rd down and 10.
Biggest play right now, Justin. Biggest play of the entire game right now.
Panthers fans thought it was over, but it is still very much alive with 1 second left. Down to their last bloodline. Casey in the pocket, avoids the sack, trying to find somebody downfield. It is incomplete and out of bounds. Out of bounds. The Panthers win homecoming 2024. The final score 24-20.
The Panthers' homecoming drought is finally over after this game. Big win. Pass was just a little bit too high, trying to get it to the back of the end zone, but just a phenomenal job today by this Panthers team. And then also this Cal Lutheran team too, to be able to come back from that 14-point deficit in the first half and make this a very competitive.
It being a touchdown. This is huge game here tonight for homecoming, and in front of these fans, they get a thriller here tonight.
Yes, a fantastic game tonight to watch. Just a beautiful piece of football, one of America's favorite sports, and I mean, that was just beautiful to watch. Suspenseful ending, which you love to see. Just beautiful game.
Well, we got the MVP down on the sideline with Stephen Hogenkamp. Let's send it down to him. Who's got the man himself, Ursino?
Thanks, Ben and Justin. I'm here with the CSBN MVP of the game, Gio Ursino. Gio, what an exciting game. Couldn't ask for a more exciting finish going down to the last play. But as for yourself, almost 200 all-purpose yards, being both effective in the run game and the pass game. Coming into the game without your backup running back in Fisher Huss, how did you have the mentality to go into the game knowing you're going to get a big load?
You got to trust the line. Everything on the line for you, and we talk on the sideline about how stuff's looking, and I trust those guys, and I know it's going to be there. And so I know Latu and Latu and Jake, they come in, and I know I can trust them, and I know that when they come in the game, they're going to carry the load too. So I just have to trust my guys, and they do a great job.
Yeah, first homecoming win also for Chapman since 2019. How did it feel knowing it had to take everyone on the team, both sides? How did it feel getting that win and getting that off your back?
Yeah, I told the guys before the game this is a must-win, and you know we have all these people coming, alumni, previous players, everyone's coming to support us, and we felt like we let them down the last 3 years. So I told the guys this is a must-win game, and it feels great to be able to do it for them.
I think for the rest of the season, also, you know, trying to defend that SCIAC title, but possibly even more goals in the aspirations. What are those end season goals as a team and then you individually?
Well, first of all, our goal is to go back-to-back. Like, that's our number one goal, is to go back-to-back. We never done it before. So our sight's set on that SCIAC championship, and then once we get there, we can look on. But our number one goal is to go back-to-back. And personally, my goal is to just get us wins. I mean, stay healthy, play every game. I've never missed a game, and I'm not planning on missing a game. So just stay healthy and keep getting wins.
Well, Gio, you certainly got us a win tonight, so go and celebrate with your boys. It was a great game for Gio Ursino, almost 200 all-purpose yards and a touchdown to go along with a fantastic game, and a big 24-20 victory for Chapman. First homecoming win since 2019. I'm Stephen Hogenkamp. It was a great game from the sidelines calling in. I'm going to send it back up to you, Justin and Ben, for the rest of this postgame.
Thank you, Stephen Hogenkamp, and certainly had a great job down there on the sidelines, and obviously Gio Ursino being the cowbell. You might as well call him the king of homecoming here tonight for this dance, and they beat out here the dance tonight. The cowbell from Gio Ursino. Obviously, you said not missing a game and what it meant to him to win this homecoming game in front of these fans finally after a long drought, and now they've got this win. They survive, and for the rest of the season, they get a lot of confidence here, Ben.
Yes, going back to Ursino, really showing off his dance moves tonight on the dance floor that we call a football field. And then the team as a whole just played super good. Yellen played very well. And then the defense, without their captain in K. Jordan, played a phenomenal game. And you couldn't ask for much more from that team.
Well, we've seen a dance out here tonight, and it's been great dancing out here with you, partner. And obviously, stick around. We still have a post-game show here on CSBN. We've got the people still at the studio. But for us here, up here in the booth for tonight's game between Cal Lutheran and the Chapman Panthers, it's been a fun one here tonight. And surely will be remembered for so many of these families and people out here tonight. My name is Justin Lee. That's Ben Ballman. Stephen Hogenkamp down the sideline. It's been a great matchup here tonight. Everyone, have a great night. Thank you very much.
And welcome back to CSBN's postgame show. I'm Lucas Patton.
And I'm Nico Schwegler. And Lucas, wow, what a game this was on homecoming. This had everything. Cal Lutheran kept it closer than we might have thought, but Chapman somehow, someway, eke out a win at the very last second.
Of course, and you have to give props to the Chapman guys not winning a homecoming game since 2019. I'm sure that the coaching and the players are going to be absolutely over the moon with this performance in this game so far. And throughout this game, we saw so many chaotic moments that could turn gold to dust and dust to gold. It was all over the place in this game, Nico.
The Panthers were able to rebound. Gio Ursino, the MVP you just saw with Stephen Hogenkamp, right there getting the first own, similar to Joey Yellen. But both of these teams played frantic football, and at the end of the day, Chapman just made that little extra marginal push to get them over the finish line.
And you have to give lots of credit to some of the players on this Chapman team. Ursino was absolutely phenomenal through this game. Chapman's secondary, their defensive backs, their safeties were very good when it came to picks. They were excellent so far in this game, and overall, dust turning to gold, like I said previously, for Chapman in this game.
And no doubt, and as we take a look at what Joey Yellen has done so far in this game, he came into this one, we didn't know what we'd expect. Obviously, the Division I quarterback coming into a new D3 program, the homecoming for him. He gets his curtain call, as Steven mentioned in the pregame, but definitely some road bumps along the way for Yellen.
Road bumps away 100%. In the first quarter of this game, he was a little bit shaky, as we could see, but throughout the game, he really started to get comfortable, and in the end, just about was able to squeak by Cal Lutheran and getting a very big win here at Wilson Field.
Well, for Yellen going forward, what do you think needs to happen for him to get on that same connection? We saw it a little bit in that second quarter, but it started to falter in that second half. What do you think the offense needs to do to get him more situated in that offensive playbook?
And I think with time, he'll be able to really come back and get more comfortable. But as we have now, down on the sideline, our very own Ella Matarelli with him. Ella?
Yes, thank you, Lucas. Today we are here with Joey Yellen right now, the Chapman quarterback. Joey, now you come from a history of D1 colleges. I mean, you went to Hawaii, Pitt, Arizona State. I want to ask you, why Chapman?
Honestly, I thought I was done playing in December when I got done there and graduated, and I decided I missed it a few months after, and I had another year of eligibility, and I want to get into real estate, and they have an unbelievable real estate program here, so I decided, it's a perfect fit.
Absolutely, and these D1 schools, the pressure was on, all eyes on you. How is Chapman, a D3 school, a lot less pressure? How are you going to use what you learned at these D1 schools and apply it to your approach for this season at Chapman?
Well, football is football. I've learned a lot through every place that I've been, and not because it's D1. I've just been able to play a lot. And so really it's just, treating it like what it is. It's a game. And I don't know if it's pressure-free after this game, but it's been a lot of fun, and the guys are great, the coaches are great, so it's been great.
100%. And lastly, do you have any hopes or aspirations for this upcoming season? I mean, this game was great. Congratulations, first of all, but any hopes and aspirations for this upcoming season?
Yeah, absolutely. We obviously want to win the SCIAC again, go back-to-back, and, see if we can make an impact in the playoffs.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us here today, and congratulations again on that win. That was so exciting. You did a fantastic job, and I'll send it back to Nico and Lucas.
Thank you so much, Ella and Joy, for that great insight. And the quote from Yellen that he said in that interview, football is football. What a beautiful statement from the star quarterback from tonight's game.
Well, he was fantastic throughout moments of these games, but definitely, as we mentioned, had a bit of road bumps along the way. As we take a look at his stats, just under 200 yards on the game, 196 to be precise, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, Lucas. Definitely some things he can hang his hat on, but definitely also needs to get a bit better with the connection with some of his receivers. Definitely relied on Ursino, though, out of the backfield tonight.
Of course, and I'm sure that he is going to be very proud with his teammates' ability to really pick up for his mistakes, and the grad student, I'm sure, is going to be over the moon with the performance that he had tonight. But now going more into the rushing yards for both teams, we saw on both teams lots of rushing. We saw both running backs really bringing the business. How do you think they did?
Well, for both of these teams, Lucas, when we take a look at the rushing attack, we thought Chapman would dominate. They've been a rush-heavy attack ever since Bob Owens came into this offense. But surprisingly, Cal Lou, they held their own. C.J. Zachary, along with Gabe Landless, held their own, as well as Jaden Casey providing a few surprise scrambles. He used his legs all night long, and it was the battle between Ursino Pacheco, Landless, and Zachary that was on full display tonight, and that's ultimately what kept Cal Lou in this game.
Of course, and surprising by Cal Lou to continue with that rushing play. Of course, Chapman does have the second best defense against the rush in the conference, so I'm sure their running backs and just players in general who are able to get those rushing yards are going to be very proud with being able to really beat the rock in this game and really defeat their rushing defense.
Well, it definitely was impressive to say the least, and you also have to give props to the Chapman O-line for holding their own. Jess Norton, coming in at center for his first ever start for Chapman, did well to protect Joey Yellen, but also him and the rest of that inexperienced O-line opened up all the holes for Ursino and Pacheco to exploit that Cal Lou defense all night long.
Of course, and we do have to talk about Cal Lutheran's offense, who were on fire, making this game a lot tighter than we initially expected. But Cal Lutheran, they did a very good job playing away from home and on homecoming for the home team. Their pressure must have been very high.
Well, they came into this one 0-3, Lucas. That's always a high-pressure situation. Justin mentioned it in the pregame. This is a must-win game for them, and ultimately they go back to Thousand Oaks with a loss. They're 0-4 on the season now, 0-2 in conference play. We'll see what happens for Anthony Lugo and his squad going forward, but definitely it came down to the kicking unit that really let them down. That missed field goal in the first drive for them, and then ultimately the missed extra point after their seemingly game-tying touchdown. That's what cost them, and Chapman capitalized with the Jax Hudson field goal to make it 24, and that forced Cal Lou to go down the field, unable to come away with the touchdown.
Of course, and this really only shows how important these games are for the future. Of course, next week we have Chapman playing CMS, a school rival, away from home. I'm sure that game's going to be electric, Nico.
No, it's going to be fantastic. I went to that game last year at CMS. That was the one that really turned around Chapman's season and solidified them as the one to beat in the SCIAC. And they go to CMS next week. It's going to be a 1 p.m. game. First afternoon game of the season on their slate. And you have to go against a division rival, some very tough competition. Whoever wins that one has a very good chance of coming out of the SCIAC going forward. But also looking ahead for Cal Lutheran, they get a Laverne squad who's been very good offensively. We saw the Cal Lou defense hold their own, but at the same time, Laverne's defense has been allowing it up. But looking ahead to our future CSBN broadcast, Lucas, water polo next week, and then in 2 weeks, a big-time matchup for football against Pomona Pitzer.
Of course, and with CSBN, we have lots of very good broadcasts in the future coming up for us. But Nico, great performances from both teams tonight. Really, two teams playing with as much passion, as much power as they could bring to the field. But from here at CSBN, my name is Lucas Patton, accompanied by my partner in crime, Nico Schwegler, and we like to wish everybody a good night.